What's up? What's up? What's up on this beautiful Friday? What's the temperature like back home in Baltimore? I got a few days, and I mean a few days, 8 days till I'm back home in Charm City. Woo! What's up, Chaos? What's up, YKJ? What's up? What's up, my boy Josh in the building? Oh man, we're gonna have a good show today. We're gonna do a good show. We're gonna have a good time. Get your cigars and cognac and come out to the patio. Woo! Oh man, how y'all feeling? So we're gonna talk about it. What's up, All Star G? We're gonna have a good guest coming up in about 20 minutes or so. We're gonna do a little play by play, play off each other. But I think that a lot of the angst that's been happening in the Black manosphere has been this talk about standards and procedures and prerequisites. Because one, when you have women up there who say that they're out earning their men and they're getting upset because they can't get the men that they want. And I'm really, really, and it's really something interesting to hear, you know, these educated females come out the woodwork and say, we've been out earning and doing this and that and so forth, when pretty much, that's not true. BGS a few years ago did a live stream with Dr. T, and he was showing what how much these women were earning and how much black men earn, and black men still out earn black women. It doesn't, we're not going for this person's better, that person's better, this person's. We're just going by raw facts and data. That all these lies and this unreasonable subterfuge against black men has been put forth without any challenge to these narratives. And I think it's very interesting. I think that when didn't know the button was on mute. I think that when educated women overestimate their value in the sexual dating marketplace and underestimate the guy who may not have a degree, but he has a trade, he has a career. There are many of times I've dated women with degrees and out earned them. I think that we need to realistically look at the character before we look at what this guy's title is. And I think that on a fundamental scale, we know that one, there's a lot of brothers out there who are doing their thing. A lot of sisters too, but there's a lot of brothers because, brothers are, as I like to call, we're beneath everybody, so to speak. So when you have old girl, what's her name again? I keep forgetting who was with it, Yala Van Zan, who was asked if she would date a bus driver, and she basically like if he owned the bus. And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, Ebony K. Williams, thank you, Snowman. Ebony K. This is the same type of woman who said that she was engaged, even though you don't see a ring, even though you don't see any vast amount of pictures for a person with the so called fiance. You can only scrounge the internet for one photo, just one. And as bougie as she is, you didn't get a ring? I call bullshit on that. Because the one thing a man's gonna do if he claims you, he's gonna put something on that left ring finger to show the world that's my woman. She was he dumped he during COVID. Jesus Christ. She got dumped during COVID. See, And I'm glad Snowman said that, man. When I got engaged, I put that ring on Jody that night, January 2nd, 2019. Thank you, Snowman, for that evidence being presented to the court today. Thank you. Women love certain significant dates. Okay? Somebody put that in the chat for time immemorial. Okay? Women love significant dates. A woman can tell you the first day she got her menstrual cycle. A woman can tell you the first time she had sex. She will let you know the first time, date, everything. She will let you know the date of when she graduated high school, college, started a business, became a corporate lawyer, whatever. The first time she even stubbed her toe. A woman is just that. That's just how women are, and they think. So you telling me she can't tell you the day she got engaged? She can't tell you that she didn't take enough pictures? I'm not a guy who can investigate stuff. I'm not an expert, but I'm just saying though. Just saying. I'm just saying. You're right, BGS. Full of the shits. Full of the shits. This is for BGS and BGS only. I will open up the floodgates. So, think about that. You're telling me that a woman can remember all these significant dates in her life, and she can't remember engagement? But this is the same woman who said she couldn't marry a bus driver. Whatever happened with Tasha K when she was getting proposed to? See, a lot of these women keep thinking they're above the men that desire them. Sup, ladies and gentlemen, the master teacher, BGS. We got to do his video, his official video.
Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond. Plus.
What cartoon is that from?
Oh, that's from My Hero Academia. You'll like it because it's like a coming of age story, but it's a passing of the torch.
Oh.
So that's my man All Might. He's one of the teachers and he passes his powers on to a student, Deku. But that reminds me of you every time you hit somebody with a logic bomb. And
yeah, I got a lot of pushback about that ring.
Oh yeah. See, you made me think of this, and you made me go into full officer detective mode, right?
Yeah.
Just like I said, if you heard it, a woman can tell you her first time she had sex.
Yeah.
She can tell you the first time she had her menstrual cycle.
She can tell you what she's wearing
on that date.
On that date, yeah.
And you're telling me you get engaged to a millionaire, and there's no damn way that you're going to tell me you didn't take any pictures? I could see if it was 30 years ago when you didn't have cameras on phones.
Yeah.
I know she would have a portable camera somewhere.
Yeah.
Some friends, family were invited.
Yeah.
But, like you said, I call bullshit.
I do too. I remember I was watching some old clips of Whitney Houston and Arsenio Hall, right? And Arsenio Hall was doing a video, a video tour of her house that she had just built, right? and she talked about her getting engaged to Bobby Brown, and she knew exactly the whole sequence, right down to what he said when he asked her and when he gave her the ring. He said, "You
Mm-hmm.
gonna marry me or what?" and,
Yeah.
and she showed the ring. I said, "Come on now."
Come on. She was proud of it.
She proud? Oh yeah, she's proud of it. But thing is, it's one thing. Okay, say you get a secret engagement, you don't want anybody to know. You don't wear the ring, but you're not even going to mention that person. Okay, but you've been saying that you're engaged. Okay,
Yeah.
that means that I don't know any woman, especially a bougie woman, that's going to say she's engaged without no proof.
Yeah. And it's funny, just to let everybody know, going to be up here for 30 minutes to an hour with BGS. Then I'm going to open up the lines. So feel free to congregate in the chat, but we're going to talk about this. And today's subject matter, speaking on
Hmm.
that, is the standards and prerequisites for men.
Yeah.
And the differences between an alpha man and an alpha woman. And I had to tell a friend of mine that two alphas cannot survive in that household very well.
No,
Somebody has to
that's
give.
somebody has to give. And the feminists know that. That's the whole thing. They know that. Okay, that's why I played that piece from Anna Marie Slaughter. Right, she knows that. Okay, two alphas can't exist in the same house. And if you're going to be that, what they call alpha woman in a masculine sense, okay,
Right.
if you're going to be the alpha woman in a masculine sense, then you had to find somebody that's going to accept that without butting heads. Because I know these type and the way they talk. I said, I'm a Sigma. I'm not alpha, but I'm a Sigma, man. There's a way that you have to talk to me, and I'm sure you're the same way. Okay, it's we can be civil, but you can't. I always bucked against that authoritative tone. Okay,
Right.
you
And I
can
had to do
what?
that with a classmate of mine speaking to me, and
Mm,
he's cussed at me, and I cussed at him like automatically.
Yeah,
And he got the message. Don't ever talk to me like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I even with my children, man, um, you can count the number of times I swear or shout at my kids. Unless it's something serious, like they've really done something wrong
Right.
or they're in danger. But the tone I even speak to my children, man, even when they're small, man. Even when they're babies, I talk to my children with respect. Okay.
Right.
I've always talked to my children, even when they're tiny. When you don't have to, how some parents are, man. You just talk to your kids all kind of way, man. I always talk to my children with respect. So I
Right.
respect them just like they're adults. So, because I'm a Sigma, so I don't do well with people speaking to me out of turn like that. So, imagine an alpha master of the universe. They're not going to accept that. And what did she say, even during the thing with uh, uh,
Yeah.
basically Yana, right? She said she'd been told on dates, put the gavel down, and we're not in court, right? In other words, you can't the kind of guy that you want, you can't talk to him that way.
And there's a lot of women in the police department when they
Hmm.
talk to me and they were like, well, my boyfriend or my husband says, hey, leave that patrol shit back at the district.
Yeah,
Even if they dating or married to other cops, leave that patrol shit back at the district. I had to tell that to she who will not be named.
yeah,
Look, you're not gonna outman me.
yeah,
And and if you want the type of guy who can take that,
yeah.
women are usually not attracted to that type of guy.
Exactly, and that's what Anne Marie was saying. What did she say? That's when most women get off the bus.
Right.
Yeah,
And here's the sad part is that I'm listening to the interview and I just listened to your video about it.
yeah,
And I'm just looking at the whole woman in her face, like, ugh, I am there. I said that. And I'm like, who are you trying to prove this to? Men don't
yeah,
like this. We're like,
yeah,
abort, abort, abort. And,
yeah.
and
But even the dustiest, poorest man, he could be working at a restaurant making 15 grand, okay, and you could be making $1 million. He's not going to accept you talking to him like that. He's not. I don't care how
no,
poor he is.
no. And rightfully so if he's a man of some type of substance that
Yeah,
respects himself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, if he's that kind of guy and he's a neighborhood dude, you pretty close to him going upside your head. if you keep
Yeah,
if you persist.
yeah. I'm just like, I'm just like shocked and appalled because when when I look at women and they try to say, well, this guy, he wasn't that good and this, that, and the fourth, and I'm just like, bullshit. Why did you
Mhm.
pick him?
Why'd you pick him? Yeah, and that's that's the thing. That's how come a lot of guys don't like me um, talking to women like that, right? They don't. They won't. Get a lot of white knights because I won't. Yeah, I won't let them. Well, you heard me. I don't let them go left or right, man. No, 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 no. There's a reason. Okay, why him?
No.
Well, it's a circumstance. No, why him? Like say a woman has a baby, right? I said, okay, was he your first? No. So where was he in the chain? He's number four. Okay, so the other three guys didn't get you pregnant, or you didn't have a baby for him. Why this guy? Well, I was young. No, you were young with the other three guys. Why this guy?
Right.
What was about him? Yeah, go ahead.
And what's crazy about that is that I rather women tell me the truth. Do you want
Yeah,
the guys that you can control versus the guys who are true leaders?
and that's fine. Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. See,
Hmm.
women be like, no, you just gonna be jealous because we might like street dudes or something. No, 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 no. Just tell the truth. That's all. That's all we ask.
Yeah. Street dudes. The thing is, what I hate, and sometimes even the management street. You're a cop, man. You're in Baltimore. Street dudes come in all kind of flavors.
Right.
Okay, and
Yeah, well,
neighborhood, and every neighborhood dude ain't a street dude. Okay,
no, no, not every guy from the hood is a street dude. There's
it's
a
a
lot
street
of
dude. In fact, most dudes from the hood. I mean, the hood would not exist if the vast majority of those dudes wasn't working class guys. It wouldn't.
right. And
Yeah,
I think that we get into these notions that the only alpha men we see are hood dudes, which is not true.
it's not true. No,
Not true. A lot of hood dudes are actually compromised dudes.
they
Thank you,
are. The vast
Mr.
majority of them are.
Mac. Because in order to take that abuse, and it's funny, I probably told you this, and
Mhm.
we work in midnight shift. Shout out to the midnight shift at Northern District.
Yeah.
And I was working with, I think it was a call, and it was on, I think it was 24 posts. And I looked at this guy, and him and his lady were having an argument. Of course, she called,
Hmm. Yeah.
and I looked at him and I said, "When did you get out?" He was like, "How do you know I went to jail?" I looked at his woman. She was as tall as she was as round as she was tall,
It's all. Yep.
and she had a nasty disposition.
Yeah.
And I said, only a compromised dude, a dude down on his luck, don't have the ability to get the woman he wants
Right.
or the situation he wants, would
Yeah.
choose a woman like this.
Yeah. Yep.
And, and like you said, like about the bus, she wants a guy that owns the bus, but
Yeah.
she doesn't want to hear the stories of what it took to get that bus.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. If you're in, if you're in a certain position, and she is, sorry, she's not gonna date a bus driver, okay?
Yeah,
Because you're in different economic class, okay?
right.
But that wasn't the point, okay? That
Mhm.
wasn't the point that she was trying to make. If you can't talk about all the queens and all the crowns, and guys not showing up, and you're not accepting for the society that you live in now.
Right.
Okay, you're an alpha female. Okay, the kind of guy that you want a leader. You're an alpha female. You're not gonna get a leader. Get a
No,
follower.
you have to like. You can't be the captain of a company and say, I want somebody to be the leader of the company. Nigga, you are the leader of the
You're the
company.
leader. Yeah.
You're the highest ranking person in the company.
Yeah, 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 and we know goddamn well, and Yana knows the same thing. And if you're making $1 million a year, he's making 60,000, and as soon as he raises his voice, what you gonna do? You'll take your pocketbook and beat him upside the head.
Oh yeah. Remember that show that I did a few months ago where I had the lady who was an Olympic silver medalist in
Yeah,
Taekwondo?
yeah,
She made 125,000 a year. He makes 65,000.
yeah,
You telling me that as soon as he does something she does not like
yeah,
or she did not ordain,
yeah,
she's not going to take that bank account?
yeah, yeah. Didn't he get online and co-sign her?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
because you can hear in the background, he's giving her answers. And I'm like, who the hell's there in the background? They can speak up.
Hmm.
As soon as he does something that's offensive to the crown, this
Yeah.
is what you're gonna see, BGS. He doing side turns and everything. And as soon as just to let you know, BGS tax is in effect. Please hit the Cash App, hit the
Hit
Super Chat.
Cash App. Yeah, if I'm here, we here giving game. Me and Charles here. Charles, no man.
Yeah.
There's a what I said. This there's a couple kinds of whole positions besides a pimp, right?
Oh yeah.
is
Police
is
officers,
is police
soldiers,
officers one,
soldiers,
fireman, and
firemen, and soldiers.
and a male nurse. Okay.
Oh yeah, the male nurse. He gonna be the ultimate hoe. Big strong guy coming down there.
Yeah, oh hell yeah, with nothing but in a feminine environment. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he just complimented your dick at the job.
Oh yeah, yeah. Male nurse put all y'all to shame.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because I've been around these alpha female types, and I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Even the female the female you were talking to, the medalist, right?
yeah,
You can tell by her tone, she's not a submissive female.
no, she's not dainty,
She's not dainty.
and that's the one thing I always ask black women. I said, how many black women and my female friend, she had to admit it. We were sitting at Kobe's, the chef, chopping up the shrimp and the steaks.
Yeah.
And she looks around and she's like, damn. And she nudges me with her elbow. I said, what's up? She's like, you were right. I was like, right about what? Black women don't smile. She's like,
wait,
I'm,
wait, wait a minute. They don't know that?
see, I'm going to give game to a lot of fellas out there.
Okay. Okay.
Women think internally. It's
Okay.
very hard for women to think in the totality of a situation. They cannot think I won't say they can't, but it's very difficult for a woman to initially think outside of herself. Like, well, it's just for example, when I told her the first time, black women don't usually smile a lot.
She don't smile.
I smile.
No, she doesn't.
She smiles a lot. I give her that. She does smile a lot.
All right.
Because that's what kind of like attracts me to her. Like, you smile a lot in every your pictures. Like, okay, I like that.
I'm out in public. I'm not pictures are one thing. Out in public.
I mean, out in public, she's smiling a lot. That's just her position. And it's like, she's like, well, I smile. I said, I'm not talking just about you. I'm talking about black women as a whole. And she noticed it when we were in the restaurant. She looked around at every black woman's face. She said their boyfriends and husbands took them to this nice restaurant and they look like they about to fight. Damn. And it fucked up her OODA loop. It really fucked with her because she was like, even she mentioned it again when we went to the car. Like, damn, I wanted you to be wrong so badly, but I had to give you your credit.
Yeah.
Shout out to T Crawford with the $10 holla. Here you go, my friend, for the everybody here for the Bria Miles, on BGS.
What I'm saying is she remind me too much of my baby mama, so
she remind me of a perfect dream. Good God, here we go.
Woo! Yep.
Yep. Good God Almighty.
Remind me of my baby mama. Yeah.
A friend of mine told me I'll tell you two short stories.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine was like, women like her, the reason why men never turn gay. And it was funny because I was talking to my class yesterday. I said, okay, and we were on our computers or our tablets, and I was like, go look up Bria Miles, and it was a Dominican brother. He like, oh, who? Bria Miles? Oh, I've been following her for years. Even the white boy behind me, he was like, Bria Miles, Jesus Christ.
That is too close to home for me, man. So Too close to home.
Know
Had
your
babies.
weaknesses.
Had babies by look like her.
Weaknesses, and tell you the truth, he's not lying because BGS showed me a picture of his daughter. Jesus Christ. And but I like to say officially to everybody, fuck you, BGS, for that. I was calling. Fuck you, okay? And the reason why, because I heard that before too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, no, nigga.
No, nigga.
And it's funny because I think, like you said about your daughter, speaking on that subject. And thank you, Anubis, for the $20 holla. Here you go. Shit, we gotta go old school for this one.
By the power of Grayskull.
Yeah, my daddy spoiled me in the 80s. Couldn't walk to the toy store without. And thank you, T, for the $5 holla. And it's funny because, like you said about your daughter some time ago, it's the pretty girl problems.
Oh God, still today, yeah.
And could you explain to everybody what you mean by pretty girl problems and the definition of such?
Oh, okay, just like basically just like a high value dude or dude that's got some change or some kind of fame, right? It's the problem of options. Okay, there's always the next dude or a better guy, or this guy's not good enough. They always find something wrong because there's always the next guy. And if a pretty girl, they get so many options, so many people coming at them, especially when they're young. And she's been pretty since she was a very little girl. So she's always had this problem. So, and she thinks, she thinks that it will never run out. All the women in my family tell her, hey, you gotta, your pretty's gonna run out one day. And you're gonna have to make a decision. You have to build your personality and stop not rejecting guys, but tossing these guys away. And it's always the next guy, and that's a pretty girl problem. That's what Ebony Williams is actually suffering from that. Okay, there's always a better guy until you meet that guy and you're not good enough. Then what do you do? Yeah, so that's what my daughter suffered from. When she looked at me about her relationship, I said, "You got pretty girl problems." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "No guy's good enough for you." So that's the epitome of pretty girl. So her mother had that shit. That's how it comes hard to. I always say anything above a 7, 7.5, anything above that, man, they have options, and they're hard to date because there's always somebody, always somebody looking over your shoulder, or her looking over her looking over your shoulder, and somebody making eye contact with her. Constantly. So it's a constant thing. There's a constant series of options, and unless you and if you're not secure, okay, in who you are, man, they're hard to date. They really are.
Man, I tell people a lot of times, these guys put these pretty girls on a pedestal. I said, you got to be very confident with a very attractive woman.
Yeah, you do.
And it's funny, Kim Possible. And it's funny because I've dated plenty of beautiful women. Shout out to Sharon. Your favorite dark skinned chick. She getting her MBA tomorrow. She graduated her MBA.
Oh, congratulations.
Her son came back into town. She always laughs when she was like, she's always blushing when she's like, oh, he knows what true black women beauty is.
Candy gram from Mango.
I'm gonna have a whole candy basket when I come back. I'm gonna have a whole candy store.
Okay, yeah, because you've been swimming in the milk for a minute.
Nah, I can't deal with the milk, man. Shit. Give me that chocolate, man. I'll be like, God damn, give me them cavities and them diabetes. They like, when you coming back home? They counting down the days, the hours, the seconds, the added seconds. God damn. Especially they want to see the new house too. I said, oh yeah, it's funny because my son told me, he's like, Dad, you know what I noticed one thing? He's like, what? we don't have to go get bottled water anymore because we got it from the fridge. We don't have to get ice.
Oh, ice. Oh,
Like
ain't,
he gave me that look. He was like, "Look, Dad." He was FaceTiming me, and I was like, "My nigga."
we got ice.
Oh
Don't have,
man,
don't have,
it's
don't have
funny.
no more trays. Huh?
Oh no, 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 no! Fuck that. Mm-mm. I'm spilling no water on my damn floor. How he looked at me like, "My nigga." Oh man, and he was funny too. And he's doing well. He's missing me, I could tell. But he wants to do boxing, and he actually went to a boxing gym and sparred a grown man and actually won. So it
Oh,
was
really?
funny.
Okay.
Yeah, he like my godson Rob was like, he's like, yo, you better put him in boxing. He is so talented. He was like,
Yeah.
he was weaving, he was parrying, and all the stuff you showed him, and the dude couldn't
Okay.
land a glove on him.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, that's why I teach him all my shit, so I can still discipline him.
Okay.
But back to the subject matter. It's funny because I think that's what I think Miss Ebony suffers from is the pretty
Hmm.
girl syndrome,
She does.
including
Yeah.
delusion.
Yeah. She was Miss North Carolina when she was young because she was a pageant girl because you see pictures
That explains a lot.
a lot and basically listen to cousin T talk. He talks about pageant girls, right? I had to find that one day when he talk about pageant girls, and they're not satisfied with the normal called 92 guy, the corporate guy, right? They want masters of the universe or somebody that's famous. So they're shooting for 100 octane, or very what I call the global elite. That's what they're
Yeah.
shooting for. And when they don't get that, they're pissed off. So when she said a bus driver, yeah, I wasn't shocked that she turned up her nose. But Yana Van Zant was trying to make a point because if she had just said for her personally, that'd have been one thing. But she
Hmm.
tried to include all black women.
Right. And I think that's the part where modern women do not understand sage knowledge.
Yeah.
An older woman trying to game you up and school you up,
Hmm.
and you're not listening to what can benefit you.
Hmm.
And I think that's the one advantage, I hate to call it an advantage, that men have over women
Oh
is,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is that men will listen to advice. It's like being on Roger's channel earlier when this guy was on there trying to talk about, well, all these black men don't take accountability and responsibility and all this other. I said, black men always had to take accountability. You know why? Because the world won't let us forget.
I think I forget what movie that was, right? Uh, when guy said either you take care of business or the business will take care of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's
And
that's a man's world, especially a black man in America. Okay, if,
exactly.
if if you don't take care of business, you will be on the street. Okay, and
Exactly.
nobody will give a shit about you, and they don't give a shit about a homeless black man. They don't care nothing about him. His family don't care nothing about
Thank you, Volcanus, for the $10. Here you go, brother. Here you go.
Now for a lesson. Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond. Plus.
And just on a side note, I've actually looked at shows on how much force and energy would need to do that to a person. I'm such,
it was if they
such a
don't work.
nerd.
Yeah, normally, yeah, if you're a nerd, normally the person you'd punch right through them.
You'll punch through them.
Yeah,
So,
that force would never even they wouldn't fly that far.
no,
You go right through them.
you would
They,
impale them.
yeah, you impale them, or they splatter.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I talk to older guys, I have a good amount of older guys including yourself, on my phone
Hmm.
that I get advice from. And I'm becoming the older guy, younger men get advice from me. And it's funny because we're so receptive to it.
Hmm.
And why do you think that she was not receptive to the information?
Because the thing is, because it's logical. What she was saying is logical, right? And I think when I was talking about it, I said she hears her, she understands that it's logical, but guess what? She's a woman. She has to feel it. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel it.
Mm.
That's the problem. She didn't feel it. It didn't sit right her in her feeling. It's not how she felt. And so for a woman to accept that kind of information and actually be in, actually take it in, right? She's got to feel it. And that sometimes that takes a while if it goes against how she feels.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she doesn't understand how she's repelling a lot of those dudes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when she repels those dudes, they're not going to look for her. They're going to look for the younger option, and I think that a lot of women don't understand that is that at a certain time and day, men have options,
Hmm.
just like they had all the options in their lives. The tables, like my man said, the tables have turned.
Yeah. 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 If for a guy like that, it's going to be a woman that's either put in work like his wife or
Mhm.
a new fertile woman.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
and
she's neither.
oh yeah, and it's gonna be very interesting because what happens is that a lot of those women become very bitter and
Yeah.
they're gonna become very nasty towards men
Hmm.
because she's always gonna put in his face, "You were not my first choice,"
Oh yeah. 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 Yep. Yep. Been there.
and I think that it's gonna be hell on wheels if she ever gets a guy like that. Hell on wheels.
No, she didn't get that one, so she's not gonna get a guy like that. You know.
And I'm just looking at it like you didn't know that you were a side chick or just a fling.
I think she did. I think she did.
She just
Yeah.
doesn't want to publicly admit it.
Yeah, because if she didn't, she'd have spoke his name, before.
Hmm.
If she was secure about her being engaged, she'd actually spoke his name, but
Yeah,
she didn't. Yeah.
and it's incredibly funny to me when you look at these females and you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
And you could get any man you want. Why do you choose this? Because this is what I think I deserve.
Exactly. Yep.
But
Yep.
life shows you what you truly deserve. Like there can, you know,
What do you say about women being thinking about being internal? Okay, their internal thoughts. Okay, and not in reality doesn't mean much. Until they get to a certain point where they keep failing. Like Yana Van Zant said, she got to be stripped. Okay, stripped down, stripped bare. Yeah, and she had to be broken. Yeah, and then even then, there's only so much that she can actually accept. Women stay delusional for a very long time. We got like what Coach Greg Adams say, the 49ers, fours that think that they're nines and refuse to admit it. So it is what it is. It's 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 really funny, man. The internals and of a woman, women actually, the thing is with a woman, um, they they internalize what they do. They internalize their feelings and what they're taught. Okay, to the point where they hold on to it, and so it takes a lot to shake it. For a man, reality will shake a man up really, really quickly. Okay, well, if he
yeah,
fails so many times, okay, he's gonna bump his head, but he's gonna adjust himself. He might not completely change, but he's gonna adjust. Okay, okay. This first 30, first two times this didn't work, so I'm gonna try another route. He might try to get to the same outcome by different routes, but he's not gonna keep taking the same route over and over again. Women will actually take the same route over and over again.
and see, here's the crazy part when it comes to that. And you're right about that ninja person about Bernie's Virgos, and a lot of women do that. They try to, which I don't get why our women try to party with their daughters and then compete for the same men. It's just stupid.
It's funny. It was a classic line. I think I think she calls herself the substitute teacher. She was actually on Pearls, right? She did say something, right, about the difference between older men and older women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He said an older man will see himself in younger men, right? In other words, yeah, I remember when I was like that, and I can see where you're going with this, right? Okay.
Mhm.
And this is what older women see themselves as younger women.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, that goes back to what we spoke about. Reality always dictates to men.
Yeah.
I'm not 21 anymore. I can't run a 14, 13-minute 2 mile, which is fast, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm a lot stronger, just like my nephew was like, he was like, back in your prime. I said, my prime's still going on a little bit. I
Hmm.
said, I'm a lot stronger than I was younger, but
Hmm.
faster? Hell no.
No.
Hell no. That was the flash back then.
No.
I
No.
said, but I'm realistic about my limitations and my strengths. And I think that's the problem with women because everybody's been kissing women's asses instead of telling them the truth. And you know how a lot of guys, and you have daughters, so you
Yeah.
know how a lot of guys with daughters are when it comes to their daughters. They never tell them the truth.
No.
And how did you get to be so honest with your daughters and tell them reality compared to these other dudes?
Cause I wanted my daughters to be complete people. Okay. I want them to be real people. I want them to be complete and basically, if because I've been around very, very smart women of all types and higher class women. The higher you go up in class, the more real the women actually get because they have to be. Okay, they can't be delusional. And so, and I wanted my daughters to really know what men are like. Sometimes, sometimes for ill because they really do know men.
Yeah.
Um, they really do know men. So that's how, my thing was actually telling the truth about themselves and about men. So I
Hmm.
started as soon as they turned puberty, I started telling them, okay, you can. I said, you can, you can believe what that at 12, you can believe what that little boy is telling you. I can take you another 10 blocks, same another little boy that you don't even know, never met, will tell you the exact same thing. Why? Because there's something that you have that they want, and that's
Hmm.
okay. Okay. The thing is, at
And
least you know what it is. Okay.
yeah.
And the same thing about you, about having a baby. I told her when she was 15. I said, I can't stop you. Nobody can stop you from having sex. I said, nobody can stop you having sex. I said, and you can have sex. And I said, as a father, I can help you with a broken heart. Okay. But there's one thing I cannot do. I said, I cannot take that baby back to the store.
No, no, we can't. You see, and that's the one thing. Can you say that again for the niggas in the back who didn't hear you?
I said,
That's
I told my daughter, about having a relationship with a guy and about sex. I said, I can't stop you from having sex, okay? And I can't stop you from getting attached to a guy. I said, I can help you heal a broken heart. So, but I cannot take a baby back to the store. So if you're gonna do it, and I would advise you not to, but if you're gonna do it, I said, protect yourself at all costs.
exactamundo.
I said,
And
it's one thing for you to be damaged or whatever. It's another thing to bring another life into it. Okay.
and God knows, man, the level of bitterness, man.
Uh huh.
That
Uh huh.
come out of a chick who had a baby by a guy she really didn't want to have a baby by. Oh my God.
Because what, that's one thing I will never in this modern times. Okay, since 1980, I will never accept you having a baby by a guy that you didn't want to have a baby by. I
Hmm.
won't accept it. Because there's a whole tree of decisions between you and having that baby. Okay,
Yeah,
first, first, why are you having sex with a guy that you don't like? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think I've unless there's money involved. Okay, I've never met a woman that had sex with a guy she didn't like ever,
exactly.
ever. I don't. I mean, I've never seen a woman, especially a black woman, with their attitudes. They don't even,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't like you, they don't even look at you. They will actually avoid your eyes. So saying
Exactly.
that you have a baby by somebody you don't like is bullshit. Okay, you might not love him or like him the way you thought you would like him. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the fundamental flaw in the argument I always pick apart.
Mm,
I'm like, just admit that you actually love that motherfucker, and we
Oh
could get
yeah,
on with the subject because you're carrying a baby for 9, 10 months,
yeah,
going through all those pains, your organ shifting, all that shit, your hormonal changes.
yeah, yeah. But my thing's how long were you with him? You know.
Yeah. Shout out to
Also,
Doc.
in other words, you went out on a date and it's a rando. You had sex with a rando for a moment of pleasure and you got pregnant. It happens, but you know what? The odds of it happening are like 1,000 to 1. That very seldom happens.
It kind of doesn't. And a lot of women will try to bullshit you if you let them. Shout out to Dar and Mr. Tolbert. Woo!
Yeah,
Um, and what fundamentally comes back to this whole subject, if you're so alpha, why are you taking that nigga to child support?
yeah,
You put yourself in the leadership position. I remember having a female friend. She was like, her child's father was committing check this out, financial abuse. And the investigator and me had to ask this question. Who made more money, you or him? Well, I
yeah.
did. How
Hmm.
the fuck can you make a financial abuse against somebody who makes less money than you? More
Because
money than you?
it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's not
And she,
about the money.
and she said the courts agree. Well, said that he was committed. I said the courts are biased against men. She's like, no, it's not. I said, Jesus Christ. I said, lady, you have a son too. Come on now.
Well, I don't even go that far. You know how I get when they get the bullshit. Come on, baby. Come on.
Yeah.
Give me the real, okay? Why? Number one, why you have a baby for him? Let's start with
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Okay. What did you expect after? What did you expect after you when you got pregnant? After you had this baby, what do you expect him to do? Okay, he didn't want to be with you. Just admit it. So
Yes.
and now you got to extract your pound of flesh. Just admit it.
And then
Mhm,
here's the crazy part. They were
mhm.
engaged, and now he's married to another chick. And
Yeah.
I said, your daughter's 4.
Uh
And I'm
huh.
like, I'm trying to put this shit into my head and make sense of it. I said, if that man wanted to marry you, it would take 6 months.
Yeah. If that. Yeah.
If that, he would have went and said, yo, let's go to the courthouse right now.
Yeah.
And I tell a lot of women, if a man likes you after 6 months, he knows if you're a wife.
Man, and I've tested this theory. Now, me and Kevin we kind of disagreed, right? I said 6 weeks. The average is 6 weeks.
I'll
If
give you
if
that.
if
I'll give
if
you
a
that.
man knows within 6 weeks whether not whether she's gonna be his wife, but that she qualifies to be his wife.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I told a lot of females this. I'm like, for some godforsaken reason, why would you give the baby first before marriage?
you know why?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
And I want them to answer, and they'll never answer that. I said, if you really thought that this guy was gonna stay, he was gonna get. I said, you're playing yourself because if
They're
I want to go ahead,
yeah, they're internal, right? So they think we value the baby as much as they do. We value children? Yes, we do. But we don't look at children the same way they do.
no, not even
Yeah,
close,
no.
not
The
even
thing is,
close.
and most guys, if they love their child, including you,
Yeah,
I want my baby. I don't want you.
yeah, we'll pick the child over you, and very very quickly.
Yeah,
Because if we have to think in a logical sense, would make sense. I'd rather make sure my child is good.
yeah.
Why pay child support wondering if my money is going to be there when I
Mhm.
can have the child and the money I work for is going to be directly towards him?
And child support is never enough for them anyway. That's just what they can
Never,
get.
never. And
Yeah,
and I've always said, here's the idiocy of child support. You get more with that man working with him than going downtown
yeah,
because the court's going to get their cut.
yeah,
And there's a fundamental there's a fundamental idiocy about them going down there because they want to show power. They want to
yeah,
force you to give up the money.
yeah, yeah. They want to and I've heard this from family members. I'm gonna get. I bet that white man will make you do it.
Oh man, I just talked about that. That white man. That it, boy, you should hear it when they get into that white man. He laughing like Skeletor. "Eh, that white man
That
shall
white
get you,
man.
He Man."
Hey, I'm gonna get the white man on you, He-Man.
Yeah,
Curse this.
curses the white man.
Oh,
Oh my
geez.
god. And it's funny because I heard that shit growing up, and I'm like, God damn, y'all sound like fucking arch villains. Stop, we're gonna get the white man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're just snarling in the background. And then they realize, and then nowadays, a lot of them are losing custody. A good number are starting to lose custody because they're like they're kidnapping the kids away from the father illegally, and they're losing, and child support is being reneged, and or they're
Yeah.
giving the father the custody, or they're getting dual custody. And I'm like, so how was it going to the white man?
Well, yeah, they you know, they know that it will hurt you. They can't hurt you
Hmm.
directly. Okay. So
Hmm.
they try to hurt you indirectly by number one, which is through the wallet, and number two, separation of your child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
They're
know,
trying
it's an old comedian who said it best. You know, if women could beat you up, maybe they smile more. If they had the ability to beat you up, they would be happier.
if the mothers would only train you to be a punching bag for black women, you know.
You know, just that's all they want you to do. They just want you to be beaten up.
Yeah.
How can I get that nigga to submit?
Submit.
If,
Yeah, they want you to
if
submit.
black women could do this shit to their men, I swear to God. I mean, God,
They go on the top. They go on the top rung. Okay, they wouldn't they wouldn't be there on the floor on the mat. They go to the
mm-mm.
top rung
They
and
go to the
fly
top. They want to do some damage.
in.
You know, they see a black man running for happiness, and this is, you know, it's like this. Mm.
Bam! The blind side.
you know, the, you can tell when you see a brother who gets his way in court. He like this when he come out them court doors. I mean, shit. It's funny because shout out to Aqua Dragon 88. Woo! Team B more, another Baltimorean. Thank you for the support, man. Oh man, I got to give you your Ray Lewis salute. get your Ray Lewis dance on. Hey, hey.
What do you think about that Maryland law that's going to go in effect about the 50-50 custody initially?
Um, the
I don't know
man
if
is.
it's law or it's being proposed. I don't know if it's a
It's
law.
being. I think it's being proposed. I got to read into it more, but
Hmm.
I'll put it to you this way. In my humble opinion, I think the manosphere is talking a lot deeper than what people think.
Mm,
There's a lot of police officers, a lot of lawyers who I knew who didn't know that I knew Kevin, and they would
hmm,
message me. I'm not giving names,
hmm,
but they would say constantly, "We like what we hear from y'all guys.
hmm.
Keep it going."
Here we go. Yeah.
Because it's changing policies, as you see,
Hmm.
changing the way even to present that to
Yeah.
courts
Yeah.
is a big win.
Yeah. Yeah. And it basically it's social pressure that
Mhm.
allows lawyers and police officers and people and lawmakers that probably couldn't even raise this on the floor uh, without getting shouted down. Now they got social pressure. Now I can introduce this kind of stuff, and people have to listen. Oh,
Oh yeah, and now you're looking at stuff like when we were doing domestic violence stuff, and
yeah,
whatever she said went.
yeah,
Now they said you have to do further investigation and blasey blasey, which saved a lot of men's asses in their careers.
yeah, yeah,
So there's the social pressures are coming on, and like I told a lot of guys, you got to support your content creators because you never know who's listening.
no, you
You
don't.
don't know who's secretly listening. It could
And
be a
we
governor, it could be a mayor, a lawyer, a judge, a police officer, a firefighter. Who knows?
and there's a lot of guys that I know, since you're a content creator, that that email you or DM you on the low.
Yeah,
Hey. I, I can't tell you who I am, but this is what I do.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
support. Like
and it's for.
they tell me, they like, yo, I want you to talk about this. I said, okay.
Hmm.
And they'll play it for wherever they are,
Hmm.
and they'll be like, I never thought about it like that.
Hmm.
And like Anuba said, they're trying to their Texas is trying to remove no fault divorce.
That, you know what, that is a thing. And I think that's part of what the what's going on with, I use Ebony K. She's typical. So like I said, anybody that's dealt with 92s know that she's just typical 92.
Hmm.
Most of them think that way. But the thing is, that's why I paired it with what Anna Marie Slaughter was saying, right? Okay, if you want feminism to actually work, you got the women have to get on board with it, and they're not getting on board with it. Like you said, you can't have it both ways.
No.
And white guys are not going to be treated like black men. Black men, we actually, we're used to being in a gynocracy. We're used
Yeah.
to our women talking to us like this and treating us like this. None white men are not used to being treated like that. They're not. They're not going to stand for this. And look at what they're doing. They say, "No, we'll do you one better." Okay, we are the white man, so we can get the white man on you. And that's what they're
Yeah.
doing. They're changing laws.
Yeah. And now the shoe has turned, or as my man said, the tables have turned, Charlie Murphy. you know, the tables have turned, Charlie Murphy. And my man Rick James. And
Hmm.
what's going on is that social pressure and social uprising, like
Hmm.
when men see the difference between men, we're not gonna bitch, moan, and complain. We're not gonna play the game. Like I told you, God rest my wrestling coach, Larry O'Neill Brown Sr., may he rest in peace, power in paradise, said it
Yeah.
best. The greatest reversal is to never get in a situation in the first place or to hold.
Yep. Yep.
When men figure out that this system is not for me,
Yeah.
they're
That's
opting out.
And that's what's happening. And it's not just all over the world, which I was trying to tell DC a couple days ago. They're opting out. I
Shout
said,
out to Lewis. Oh,
"Hey,
go ahead, BGS. I'm
no,
sorry.
you said shout out to Lewis. Go ahead, shout him out. Hey,
Shout
Lewis.
out to Lewis, man. Thank you for the $5. My guy, Superman. Woo! We all know that is my man. My man coming in like this. You got a slow dance and then for all the detractors, I got this
Hey,
for you.
hey,
Oh,
Angela,
boom.
Angela Lewis is a pretty woman. I have to give her credit. That's a pretty
Yeah,
woman
yeah, yeah. Yeah, she is. Lord. Thanks
with
again,
them with
Lewis.
them with them thighs.
Oh, and them lips too.
Oh yeah,
Can't stop staring at them. I think it, I think it's interesting because one, when when men opt out, you'll lose a country.
yeah,
You may lose generations when women are opting out,
yeah,
but when men opt out, the ramifications are a lot faster.
yeah, yeah. They're having a hell of a time with labor. In fact, what's going on right now with labor? Um, they're trying to reintroduce child labor now.
Mm,
That is on the horizon. The labor problems are just that bad that they're trying to introduce labor with kids under 16.
damn.
Yeah,
In this country?
in this country, yes, yes. In fact, I think it was a McDonald's in Kentucky. I got to go back and look at it. Right, there was 2 10-year-olds that found working after hours. In McDonald's. They're not even supposed to be working there, period. But they're working.
Exactly.
They're in there working. It had been for a while.
And,
So.
and think about this, because we have an uprise of single motherism.
Hmm.
Do you, how many single mothers you think be selling their kids off for work slaves right now?
I don't know. If they could, I think there'd be a lot of them. But I don't think the thing is, it's still kind of taboo.
It's taboo, but so it's OnlyFans. But
Hey man, well you saw you probably too young, but you saw it during the crack era, man. About
I remember the
about well,
crack era.
you
Well, I wasn't an
you're
adult.
Baltimore's. Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't
you
an
wouldn't.
adult. I'll say that. But
Yeah,
I remember the '80s, man,
yeah,
and it was not. It was good, but it was sad at the same time because you saw families.
Yeah.
that were married and up, and it was, I'll put it to you this way for all those who are not old enough to remember the 80s. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going by BGS can give you the adult version. I'm going to give you from a child.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird for me to go to school and not see a two-parent household.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the last generation to see that
Yeah.
as a totality, as the majority of a generation.
Yeah.
I'm the last. And I can say that as an older millennial. I
Mm-hmm.
can't say that for the younger millennials. And when you see that, hi, Mrs. Mr. Gross,
Mm-hmm.
and you start noticing 5, 6, 10 years down the line, hey, Mr. Gross, how's Mrs. Gross? I'm not sure. We're not together anymore.
Yep. Yep.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, even in the 80s, man, she might not be married to the child's father, but there was at least stepfathers in the
Mm-hmm.
household. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There was. That's one thing I can say about boomers. Might have not. Boomer men might not have been shit, right? Whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to say about them, right? As far as staying married, right? But the thing is, a lot of boomers actually stepped up and actually became stepfathers during the crack era. You have these chicks out there having babies by these dope dealers and them going to prison. So now you got 10 kids and 5 baby mamas, with no man in the house, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
boomers actually stepped up and actually, either lived with these chicks or married these chicks and became
Yeah.
stepfathers. So
Yeah.
you
And
still had
people,
two-parent household.
and people like, and people think that, it was simping. There's
Yeah,
some levels of simping. Okay.
yeah,
Simping is trying to get the admiration or
yeah,
sex from a woman. And if I give something, but guess what? You're not going to get anything in return, and you know it. See, those men were actually getting somewhat of wives, actually. They were getting commitments because guess what? A lot of guys would tell you, "Oh, that's not my biological grandfather." And then you grow up like, "Oh, I thought that was your grandfather. That's the only one I knew. And that's the only one I know too." So
yeah,
it's when they try to talk about boomers, and it's like I like to tell people who have issues with boomers because both of my parents are boomers.
yep,
You didn't have a lot of money in the black community. You never really did. When they talking
yeah,
about all the wealth, we never
yeah.
had wealth.
No,
1/2 of 1% of the wealth of America was in black hands at any given century or day. So where the fuck is all this money and wealth coming from? Because I see a lot of like millennials and some Gen Z, some what's the one above the millennials? Gen X.
yeah,
And I see the Gen Zs saying this shit like, yo, well, my grandfather, my great grandfather fucked up the money. There was no money to begin with.
yeah,
And that's when, I'm gonna have a conversation with a young man about why haven't Africa been this powerful nation? I said, you know why? Because it's called 500 years of Europe. I
yep,
said, if I keep coming to your country, this franchise in your country, stealing your resources and not paying for them, what
yeah,
would happen?
yeah,
See, there's a reason why you have places like Qatar.
yeah,
People got to pay for that oil.
yep,
No money, no oil. They're not even going to let you on the land. So it's the same thing they're saying. You're right. You're right. People don't understand their history and geography.
yeah.
And and this goes back into the black community. Well, the black people not doing so well. I said, look at how we were disenfranchised from the beginning. Even
We,
after, go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
sorry.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
I said, look how disenfranchised. I remember the first day I came for training
Yeah.
here, and I had a conversation with a white guy from who was on my team, and he's a firefighter, retired firefighter, and he was like, when the subject of slavery came up, and he says, well, everybody had slaves. I said, majority of the world had indentured servitude.
Yeah.
I said, you could buy yourself out of bondage or slavery.
You could.
I said, let me ask you this: when the Jews, when they were enslaved, if you believe they
Hmm.
were they allowed to keep their religion? Yes. Were they allowed
Yeah.
to keep their names? Yes. Were they allowed to marry? Yes.
Yeah. They
Okay.
were they're allowed to have families. Yeah.
A lot of them have families. I
Hmm.
said, let's go to antebellum slavery. Were you allowed to keep your name? Hell no. Were you allowed to keep your religion? Hell no. Were you allowed to have children without the master's consent? Hell no.
No.
Were you allowed to be even practice anything? No, you weren't even allowed to read. I said, as a
No.
matter of fact, let's put it to you this way. They called it cattle slavery because you ranked as high as that cow,
You did. It brought maybe even lower.
maybe even lower.
Hmm.
You could be killed and there's no legal ramifications that person would face.
No.
You were
Your your
property.
property. Yes, you were.
And that's when he was like, well, you're right, you're right. I said, I
Yeah.
know I'm right. I said, you could read a fucking book and say you know that
Yeah.
I'm right.
And even down to the 1964. Shout out to Dr. Johnson and Dr. Gigi, right? They found this out, right? They dug this up after years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, by when we actually got civil rights, okay, by them putting sex into the civil rights bill, right? You gave all the wealth that was supposed to go to black men for their families, which is what it was
Mm-hmm.
designed to do, and you gave it to what? White women. Now, did the
Mm-hmm.
white women marry black men and distribute the wealth?
No.
What they do? They took that money, took that wealth to what? To their white men. So guess what happened? White wealth doubled
Yeah.
from
You
what it
you
was.
just created, and I'm gonna give a quick economics class. Like you said, white wealth doubled, and our wealth went to a fourth.
Hey, Salty, if you're gonna get wings of fried floured fowl fun, basically you need to go to Roscoe's, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
get some waffles with
Oh
it.
yeah. Remember the fine cuisine. You shall give me the finest fried fowl with the finest, tea leaves with
Get,
Earl Grey
hey,
with
get,
ice and lemonade.
guess what Austin
And
Holloman said? He comes from Texas, right? Guess where he said had the best fried chicken?
where's that?
In Tanzania, in Africa.
Jesus Christ, really?
It's what he said. He said this is the best fried chicken I've ever tasted. So
God
so
dang.
right from the motherland.
Right from the motherland, baby. And it's funny because everybody thinks Africa, because God knows it. You can't beat the propaganda machine that white people have.
Yeah.
They would think all these white people. There are cities in Africa that will shit on first world cities. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's just keep it a buck. There's a reason why some places in Nigeria the way they are, how they bougie, because they're better. They're just as good as first world or
Yeah,
better.
they are, and it's smarter. Yeah, that's true.
And I, and I'm like, and I'm looking at it like it would take the motherland to have some of the best fried chicken. Ain't that a bitch? God damn.
And you know what? Basically, game changer can speak ill of boomers. Okay, it's fine. Okay, but let's put it this way. Okay, uh, uh, basically, you can say boomers did a whole bunch of simp shit. Okay, you can say that, right? Okay, people don't know how bad the crack era was, and these women
Mhm.
actually selling out to these dope dealers, right? Can you imagine the amount of childless, single mother homes and destitute children? What happened if these brothers didn't step in and they saved the fucking community, right? Now I don't blame you guys for not doing it again, okay? Because the boomers didn't get no kind of respect for that shit, for the sacrifice, okay? And people don't even tell you how many chicks actually recruited. And Charles can tell you because he's a cop. How many women actually recruit these guys to go out on the street and sell dope for them?
You'll
Look,
be surprised.
go ahead.
You'll almost never hear a father telling his boy to go sell some drugs or
Nope,
doing something illegal.
nope.
But you'll always see a mother said, "You need to go out there and do something to make some money."
I mean, look at Steve Harvey's wife. She did it twice.
Yeah,
And did she do one bid for it? No,
God, I
they both
got
did the bid. And guess what? Now, did they come out with money after doing their bids? Did
nope,
she compensate them? Like
nope,
break them off something? Nope.
nope.
I can't tell you how many. One day we're gonna have me and Charles are gonna have to have a talk because Charles seen it from the law enforcement side because he knows, and I seen it from the street side, man. I can't tell
Yep.
you how many dudes went in. My friends did this shit, man. Because I might talk proper, basically. I'm a neighborhood dude just like everybody else. I ain't no better, no way. I always say that. I'm a neighborhood guy. And and Charles can tell you by the shit that I know, I'm a neighborhood guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. My uncles and my fathers are your age,
Yeah.
or a little bit older, and he would tell stories, and he would tell you when we sold drugs. You
Hmm.
could tell that was a code of honor in drugs. As funny as it sounded like, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
No mother, no kids.
Yeah.
Shop closed up at a certain time. You didn't sell
Yeah.
to anybody you didn't know. You didn't sell by schools.
Yeah.
And if a kid asked you, "I want to be just like you," they would give them a 5, 10, or $20 bill and say, "You don't want this life. Go get an education. Get the
You
hell
go
out
in
of here."
education. Get out of here. Yeah. Get
And
out of here.
a lot of dudes will tell you. A lot of my uncles, a lot of people's uncles, because everybody were I won't say victims of their environment, but they're held to their environment, who went in jail and
Yeah.
didn't have a red cent when they came out because
Right.
either mama or girlfriend spent it.
Spent it, right? It spent it, basically, and turned it back. Basically, you know, basically, what did Steve Harvey's wife do? After 5 years, she moved on to the next guy, to the next drug dealer.
Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm. Yeah, that's what she. I mean, that's what the black community historically don't want to talk about.
yeah,
How many of y'all had babies by these dudes?
yeah.
But daddy wasn't shit. Daddy wasn't shit.
Look at salty balls, man. Remember the movie Straight Outta Compton with what's his name running over the house tops before the rooftops before the and jumping fences before the battering ram actually hit the house.
Oh
I said,
yeah.
I started laughing because I said, I seen that shit. I seen that
Oh
shit
yeah.
myself.
Oh yeah, like I've told people, I said, you got to remember, I'm a child of the '80s and I was a teenager in the '90s, and you saw a parallel shift in the black
Hey,
community.
hey, Salty. My boy in the mid '80s, my boy lived over in Compton, man, by the canals. Okay.
Mm, God damn.
So
My man, my man.
you know what it's Salty's the neighborhood LA guy. He probably know what I mean when I say the canals over by Compton. Okay.
What they say, Compton. What my man Robin Harris said,
He,
Compton and hell's a local code.
he a local, just a local call, and he was right, man, because I've been there. I've been there.
A lot of people be like, "See, we got a boy. You bring it about for this. Bring it about."
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that a lot of Gen X and a lot of that's how come that, sometimes some Gen Xers and so even some Z's simping, right? Because about being stepfathers, because
Mhm.
it was stepfather that she stood in the gap and saved them. Okay, because
Yeah,
their life would have been hell if their stepfather hadn't stepped in and saved
look
them.
at Shaq.
Yeah, look at Shaq. Yeah, Shaq was one of them.
I
Yeah,
said, he said, truth over emotion. Said the boomers were selfish, only out for themselves, not looking for the future of the black community by raising their kids properly. Now look at the community. Shaking my head. I'm gonna say this, right? Okay, I'm
Uh,
gonna
uh,
say
uh,
this.
were you there? Okay, let me ask you. How old are you, man? Were you there? Were you there?
Truth over emotions. How old are you? That's a good question.
I mean, look at the single mother rate now. Okay, look at single mother rate now compared to what it was back then. Okay, you know what? You know the biggest group of single mothers. When it actually peaked in basically the late '90s. Those are Gen Xers. Those weren't boomers.
You know what's amazing to me?
Hmm.
That they always talk about the boomer men, but they never say anything about the boomer women.
Yeah.
And I like to be a fair guy. I like to be a fair guy. I like to be a fair guy because one, I want to know. He said he's 47.
You're 47. Yeah, you Gen X. You Gen X. Okay. So all your buddies were out there being marrying those chicks. Did the marriage rate go up under Gen X? Let me know. 'Cause I don't see it because I look at these stats all the time. Did the marriage rate actually go up with Gen X?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. Here's a little known fact about Gen X. Gen X was the rise of the fucking
A
teenage
thought,
pregnancy.
teenage pregnancy, rise of the thoughts. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the strippers. Look at Gen X and all the debauchery, man. Bike week. Okay,
I
that's
mean,
Gen
let's
X.
not
Yeah.
talk about Freaknik. That's straight
Yeah,
Gen
yeah, yeah,
X.
yeah. Just right. Yeah, stripper culture came from Gen X. It didn't come from boomers. Okay,
Sadly, us
the
brothers, the first.
the gangster rap and all that stuff, all the gangsters and shooting and all that kind of stuff. Those are Gen Xers. Those aren't boomers.
Yeah, like a lot of this shit that's going on.
Yeah,
Like, let me put it to you this way: last time I checked, all your gangster rappers, all your Freakniks, and all your those.
yeah. I can tell you, man. The boomers were the last group of a cohort of men actually court their women, right? But Xers from then on only hooked up. Y'all didn't court, y'all didn't date, y'all hooked up.
Nah, nah, and
Okay,
and
yeah.
a lot.
You guys became partners. Okay, you guys were the first group they had partners. Okay, we didn't have partners. We had husband and wives. Okay, we weren't partners back then. There's no such thing as partners. Okay, y'all did all that shit. I know because I was watching y'all do it. Yeah, with the sagging pants and the tattoos and the hood culture and the bad language and all that. I can go on. Who actually introduced, who actually adopted calling each other niggas and bitches and hoes? It wasn't boomers. Who was that?
Bueller, Bueller. I
Who was
mean,
that?
if
Yeah,
we
and
gonna
and,
if we gonna
and
be
y'all
fair,
and y'all still do it, okay? Y'all 50 years old with tats and dreads in hip hop clothes. Y'all in their 50s still doing that shit, okay? Still arguing over educated lames and street niggas, okay? Instead of upstanding dudes going to work being bus drivers, okay? It's not good enough for you. When you taught the women to want the scammers and drug dealers and stuff like that. Y'all, that's what you guys taught. Okay. It was your women. Basically, your women, as far as Gen X women, were actually dating these chicks and still dating them. Y'all still want hood scammers and drug dealers and trying to get be on welfare and stuff like that. We didn't embrace that shit. We didn't embrace single woman, single parenthood and out of wedlock pregnancies. That was debauchery, man. When I was coming up, boomers. Man, boomers got shamed for living with a woman without being married to her. Okay, y'all didn't.
yeah. And I mean, here's this response. Gen X were raised in the consciousness that woke her.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
No,
No,
they
you
weren't.
weren't. No, you weren't. Bullshit.
You might have had small pockets, but you weren't. I mean, think about it. Some of your most provocative shit that started out the Gen X generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was the you got to think. My sister, who's 10 years older, she's a Gen Xer.
Hmm.
She was a teenage mom.
Yeah.
You act like we don't live in the same fucking community.
My brother is one of the older Gen Xers, right? He was born in '69, right? I know what he listened to. Okay, I know kind of music he was listening to. Okay, we didn't listen to the same kind of music. Okay, boomers listen to smooth jazz. Okay, maybe a little bit of hip hop, smooth jazz. Okay, closer we came was Prince and Michael Jackson. The shit y'all listen to. Okay, we didn't even
I
listen
don't
to the
even
same
think
kind of music.
I don't even think they started like and see every era. Where's the style from their era? Stop the cap. LOL.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean,
man.
here's the problem, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to co-sign BGS or as people would say dick riding. Nope, don't do that. I'm gonna tell you what I've seen, and that's just out of observation. I'm not even gonna tell you what. When you think about it, the single motherism rate started to boom
Yeah,
with who
with X, Gen X. Yeah.
you went. A lot of y'all, my sisters age. A lot of y'all, she'll be 50 this year. No, 51 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a lot of her cousins, a lot of people in that era started having babies. It
Mm-hmm.
infected my generation because I was in school with a chick. By the time she was in ninth grade, she had a 2-year old.
Yeah.
We were
But
14 in the ninth grade, man.
it took Bill Clinton uh, uh, capping welfare to stop it. That's what it took.
Hmm.
When Bill Clinton had to kill welfare by 2/3, basically sending all these Gen X women to school and workfare to kill it. Otherwise, it had gotten worse because I think it peaked out at 72% as far as
Yeah,
out of wedlock births. Those are Xers, okay? Those weren't boomers.
yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that it's like, yo, a lot of these chicks were giving it away.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I
but
remember I remember the change, man, because I remember the change. It started with the Xers, and then and it got worse. Well, it got worse with the millennials, where y'all well millennial but Xers are hooking up, right? But thing is, by the time it got to the millennials, man, they didn't even fucking date anymore.
yeah, we rarely dated, and I'm gonna tell you that's my generation.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hookup culture. Go to the club. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
I
Sometimes not
got
even that. Yeah, basically, what is it? We then it was it Blockbuster and chill.
yeah. It was I'm gonna make a joke. It was that guy who sold the burnt DVDs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The bootleg and chill,
uh,
and that fine fried feather fowl and
yeah.
chill.
Yeah. Because you can, I mean, you can argue with it, but the thing is, after 8 years of doing this shit, man, I am in no mood to even mince words with it. Okay, because
Yeah,
because 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 my grandmother was born in 1910, right? Okay, my great uncle, my uncle, not my great, but my uncle is 90. My mother's 85. Okay, I've seen how many generations I've seen. My grandsons are Generation A.
mm,
I've seen 7 freaking generations, so I know what it is. Okay, you can't tell me what it is because I've seen this stuff coming up, and I'm from the hood. Salty Balls can tell you. Salty Balls can actually tell you that I'm not from the suburbs, right? I'm. I'll tell you this, right, about my background, right? The first time I went to a funeral while some kid getting shot, I was 10. Little kid,
mm,
little bully in the neighborhood thought he was so tough. One of the new kids got tired of getting bullied, shot him in the head. Okay, first funeral
mm,
I ever went to that was from a person in the neighborhood. I started getting robbed at 5 years old, right? But the bullies in the fucking neighborhood. Okay, I was 5, had 9 year olds taking my lunch money. Okay, and
mm.
guess what? My mama didn't. My mama didn't walk me to school. Okay, had to do that shit by myself. I've been on the street outside by myself since I was fucking 5 years old. Okay? You can't tell me what I saw. I was in the motherfucking crack houses. I've been in crack houses. I had a bunch of friends that actually ran crack and meth. Okay? Okay? Drug dealers when it first popped off. Uh I grew up like a half a mile from Freeway Ricky Ross, the
Yeah,
biggest cocaine pen, you know, uh, in LA, probably in the nation, right? I played basketball with Pablo Escobar's nephew. Can't tell me what I don't know. I
yeah,
hope he's out by now. I think he had to do 25, so I think he's out by now.
yeah.
Traffic.
And I mean, you got to think about it, right? A lot of people don't understand that one
Yeah,
where this shit started to crumble.
yeah,
And it's like I told the guy in my class. I said, let's look at what was going on. I'm a kid who saw this
mhm,
growing up because BJS is telling you. I saw the kid as an '80s. He saw it
yeah,
as an adult,
yeah.
obviously.
Oh,
Saw the
me,
'90s as a teenager.
I'm gonna tell you how far back I go and what I know. Right, I work for a guy. Right, I work with a guy. Right now, his brother was a chemist. His This is 1981. His brother taught him how to rock up cocaine. That's how far back I go. Before they actually sold it, before there was crack houses, it used to be just powder. Okay, you used to have to find a guy to cook it for you. Okay, he used to. That's how he got his high. He'd get a bunch of people together. They pool their resources, right? He would rock the stuff up for them. That's how
Hmm.
far back I go. You
Yeah,
can't tell me what the fuck I don't know.
yeah. And a lot of people don't want to say, and they want to play the blame game.
Yeah,
And it's like somebody said in the chat. The more you try to blame the last generation, the more you're not accepting responsibility on your own.
And boomers aren't perfect. Okay, um we got basically no fault feminism. Okay, boomers had to grow up what as an adults, right? Feminism. Okay, number one, right?
Mhm.
Number two, no fault divorce. Number three, abortion. Okay, number four, birth control pills. All within a span of like 10 years, right? 70% of our fathers got divorced from our mothers because of no fault divorce, right? So we're the first latchkey kids. Now
Mhm.
were we within wedlock? Yeah, we got a lot of divorcees. You know, Irene Franpang says the same thing about his mother, right? In the 70s, right? In the early 80s, just because you could no fault divorce, she divorced her husband and left him as a single mother. A lot of shit went on, and then after that, crack era came in.
Mhm.
And now you had all these knuckleheads, and I'll finish with this. You had all these knuckleheads that couldn't spell, couldn't read, couldn't write, would not be valued as a mate, right? All of a sudden, they're walking around with hundreds of thousands of dollars in their pocket. And guess what the black women did? Did they shun them because they were dusty? No.
Nope. Nope. They look for them niggas. They were
They
like, are
looked
there
at them
more?
niggas. Yeah,
Are there more of these motherfuckers?
yeah,
Like shit. They knew. And,
yeah,
and and it's crazy because what did they imprint their daughters with? If he can't
yeah,
get you nothing, I'm gonna
yeah.
say this. This might be controversial
Hmm.
because I also put the link on my Facebook as well. I'm gonna say this, and I dare motherfucker message me. The first person to put a price on a black woman's pussy was their mother. I'ma
Yep.
just put it out
Yeah.
there.
And I swear to God, I swear to God, I've seen that for myself. I've seen that with my daughter and her grandmother, right? Her other grandmother, right? Okay.
Hmm.
I've heard her say the exact same thing. Okay. Heard her say it.
You better
So
not give him nothing if he can't give you anything.
yeah, exactly. You cute and you got a fatty. So they gonna the niggas gonna pay for this. I heard that. I've heard that shit.
Hmm.
So, you know, I
Hmm.
mean, I mean, I put it in proper language, okay, because I sound like I shouldn't know what I know, but it's not something it's not something that I read. I saw this. I read to understand what I was seeing. Okay, a lot of stuff I studied because I want to understand what shit that I saw in my life coming up.
Right. And here's the craziest part about it is that
Mhm.
it's just like the black manosphere. And most black men in America think they're crazy because they're the only ones who see it. Tell
Yeah,
you had an internet or
yeah,
YouTube or some type of multimedia streaming service that showed you're not alone, nigga.
yeah. Hey, shit. You know, have I been out there? Sure, man. Have I had my share of strawberries? Sure. Or what we call crack holes? Yeah, it's cheap, $5. That's why do you think I call them coffee girls? About shit that's going on out because I seen this shit before.
Yeah.
It's not new. Now, Charles is a cop. He sees this shit all the time. So I know what he sees. He sees this shit all the time.
And it's funny because, right,
Uh,
just like with last year, 2 years ago, when they had this whole, educated lame and street nigga debate.
I was laughing. Yeah.
And I'm laughing my ass off because I'm looking at you niggas like I went to college. I got enough credits for a fucking degree,
Hmm.
apparently, since I did the count. I went to Coppin State. There
Hmm.
were niggas who were slaying bitches that half of you niggas beat your dicks to. Okay?
Hmm.
They were slaying. Stop thinking that it's the environment where a man's always gonna hunt where the fishing is good for is where the prey is good for him.
Yeah.
Sorry. And that's the part when people talk about, oh, you don't know the streets. Nigga, I live in worse neighborhoods than I worked at some point. So it's it's funny because culturally, there's not too many degrees of separation from the hood unless you live in the motherfuckers from Bel Air on their
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
That's the only biggest degree of separation. Anybody else, your middle class, pretty much live up the block.
Yeah.
They didn't live that far. They Your middle class. This is how you know what type of class you're in. When you can't catch a bus to their neighborhood,
Yeah.
you know who's rich. And it's funny because Mr. Shug said I couldn't imagine police in the streets of Baltimore. It's not as bad as you think.
Baltimore could not exist without cops,
No.
without good cops. I actually admire Baltimore police because there've been a lot of dead bodies this is actually L.A. A lot of dead
Yeah,
bodies. L.A.
yeah,
L.A. cops do not beat on you; they shoot you. They'll put you in the
yeah. We'll
ground.
fight you. We'll
You,
shoot a fair one with you.
yeah, they'll shoot a fair one. L.A. cops will not shoot a fair one. They will not. They'll put you in the ground. They don't
I
play.
I mean, it's what makes it funny is that a lot of these brothers are looking at this situation like this is something new. This is
No,
over 40, almost 50 years now.
50 years now. Yeah.
Like you're seeing what happened, the degradation of a community. You're seeing the degrade of culture. Do you think that these women are teaching their boys to be overachievers? Anytime I had this, a lot of you don't know this. I actually challenge a lot of shit BGS says.
He does.
And when he wrote the report about black, when he read the report off about white women being better mothers than black
And
women,
you were mad just like I was. Yeah.
I wanted to throw my shit out the fucking window. I really did. Think about it. And what the hell? We're worried about, okay, what the boomers did when you can't even raise your children now.
Yeah.
Think about that. You worried about yesteryear. We can't even get niggas always worried about the past, and we can't get children to get a fucking proper education now.
But you know what it really is? Really is that a lot of guys like that are actually raised by maybe raised by boomers or something like that. They think that boomers were supposed to actually raise them like white men, like white people do. Okay,
Yeah,
with what?
they see those TV shows and shit.
Yeah, you you
And
c- you
God,
can't you can't raise your children like white people. Okay,
no, you
and you're
cannot.
47.
You cannot. You cannot. And I tell this to everybody. See, my generation and the youngest of the Gen Xers, we're the TGIF generation, okay? You know, when CBS and ABC used to have those comedy shows and they would see the step by step and, I'll even say even the Family Matters, even though I love the show, but I hated it because I wore glasses and then Urkel came out, Jesus Christ. Um, we look at those families and we never came to terms that that's not the average. We look at these shows. Remember 90210,
Yeah,
which is probably BGS's fucking zip code, but anyway. But
I wish. I
it,
wish.
it's funny. We see all these shows of all these influent white people
Hmm.
or middle class white people. Hell, I'll even tell you what a really dark secret people don't even want to tell you. Middle class black people don't even raise their kids the same way as middle class black people.
Yeah.
Middle class black people and white people do not raise their kids the same.
No, they
They don't.
don't.
They just don't. And then y'all don't even want to talk about the stark differences of being in a black community. Okay? Y'all don't even want to talk about the stark differences of being in a black community where your boy's education is stifled.
Yeah.
The fuck? Oh my god! I just the nerve of you niggas. The nerve of you niggas, man. The nerve. Yeah, I'm thinking this ritzy shit. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm gonna open it up. Do you wanna
Yeah,
answer a few
yeah,
questions?
yeah. They can come up. I can do it for like another half hour or so. They can come on up.
Okay, cool. Here's the link. Don't forget, BGS tax is still in effect. Gotta support the cigar and cognac fund.
Yeah,
Woo!
I hate this generational shit, man, because it's one thing if you want to blame if you want to blame the boomers, that's fine thing. But you guys have to do better and say we actually did better than you guys. Okay, millennials like Charles is a millennial. by generation, and he's in his 40s. Boom, X is in their late 50s. Okay, what have you guys done since that time in 50 some odd years?
And
What
I'm
have you
gonna tell
done?
you, I'm not even trying to compare myself to. My father always wanted to push me to be better than him. That's
Yeah.
why he's happy. He's he's looking forward for when all of our accomplishments. And the funniest part about this is that there's too many black men that want to go back into the past instead of saying we're going to go to the past to study where we are, where we're going to go. No, you want to sit in the past and and bitch moan and complain. And I'm like, where did they build you type of niggas? Because I need a recall. I need a recall because
Yeah.
this is not the what I grew up with. Okay, a lot of you niggas, I thought you niggas were rich when you had a Nintendo. Okay, I didn't know we were poor till we went to the county. Okay,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the houses, and they have more bathrooms than you have bedrooms.
yeah, they got more
Mm-hmm.
bathrooms than we than some houses have bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, a lot of y'all niggas need to stop it. A lot of y'all niggas need to stop it. Well, you know the exes were just so selfish. No, nigga. No, nigga.
They grew up in their time, and they did their dirt just like everybody else did. When boomers went into the dope and the weed and hippies and the angel dust. Okay, that happens. Okay, everybody does something. Okay, there's nobody that's clean. Okay,
Oh,
nobody that's
nobody's
clean.
clean. No
Nobody's
generation
clean.
will ever be clean.
No.
And thank you for the compliment. I'm not special forces. I know a couple of brothers, both black and white, who did some honorable shit. I had a chance to work with some special forces brothers. I'm not it. I've done
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
share of tactical
Yeah.
shit, but I respect it.
They they,
They
they, they,
respect
they
me.
talk about boomers. Like my grandma, my grandmother's an angel to me. She's an angel to me. But the thing is, she had 9 kids by 4 different guys. Come on,
Mm, mm.
and she's not a boomer. She's way older than a boomer, and that's very common in the black
Exactly.
community. That's very common in the black community.
Exactly. And people act like we were
Oh,
this well oiled
the-
machine.
this basically this salt of the earth, moral people. Okay, were we in some cases? Sure. But the thing is, in a lot of cases, we're human beings just like everybody else. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Uh, did did the men walk away from their families, and women will leave their husbands or kick their husbands out? Women, a black one kicking their husbands out in the 1890s, in the 19th century, right when Du Bois actually doing his treatise, right? A man couldn't find a job, black one put him out. She might have
Yeah.
married him, might have had a couple kids, and then after she married him, she didn't get divorced. She had more kids by another guy. Okay,
Like they won't
she
even
put him
talk.
out.
They won't even talk about, oh, my grandfather was the king of his castle. Half of you niggas know that y'all were on borrowed time if y'all didn't have a job. Y'all know how the
Yeah,
community is. Everybody wanted to come up. I guess nobody wants to come up. Shoot.
they talking shit in the chat. They can come on up.
I
I
mean,
mean,
how many times you had women look at you as interchangeable?
yeah,
Ah, I
yeah,
ain't gonna say it.
yeah. Listen to Gil Scott Heron singing "Angel Dust." Okay, back in the '70s. You know, so that was the thing, man. It's just something about the way the way what the thing is, the worst thing is that it wasn't the men. Men have always been able to get on dope and whatever it is and get on and get off and get themselves together, right? There's something about cocaine and crack that did something to the black female that has never been done before or
I
since.
think I think that was chemically engineered towards that.
Yeah,
because I've told you, I've read the studies where there's a reason why you have a single mother epidemic compared to single father, because
Right.
women tend to tamp down their boys.
Right.
And the biggest generation of children were who?
Oh, the boomers. Yeah.
The boomers.
Hmm.
And what did the boomers do? They changed culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of y'all need to read a fucking book.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
The professor, we ended this part of corporate communication and corporate management. We're going to another part for workforce violence and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The chat is open. The link is in the chat. And it's funny. He even told some of these kids, y'all need to read a fucking book. Well, there was gun control during. He was like, in Nazi Germany, there was gun control prior to that. There was a
Mm.
registry.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all need to read a book. A lot of y'all need to really sit down with your fathers, your grandfathers, and really talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you from experience, I didn't
Mhm.
understand my father till I went to war.
Yeah.
And we talked for 8 hours. I didn't understand my father totally till I became one. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, yeah. And have to deal with it. Had to deal with what? The mother, right?
had to deal with the mother and her shenanigans.
And her
And worst
shenanigans.
of all, and then for 5 years had to deal with her mother's shenanigans.
Yeah.
So I had to tell her, either you going to respect me or you're not going to see my son.
Mm.
And she tamped that shit quite down.
Hmm.
And then a lot of y'all niggas are scared to do that.
But
So
I'm still. I know a gynocracy because I'm still in one about women trying to run shit. So imagine a sigma in the middle of two gynocratic families.
man, you probably just want to throw yourself out of a goddamn window.
Ah, man, you know what? You pick your battles. Let's put it that way.
I've told this story before. The Padawan, he's supposed to get his commission as well for
Oh,
special police.
okay.
And he looked at me and he was like, "You dealt for this for almost 2 decades." He's like, "Dude, I have another different respect for you." He's like, "No," he's like, "I didn't realize how much the man you were till I had to deal with this shit for one day."
One day, yeah.
And he said, "You dealt for this for almost 2 decades on top of your military career." He's like, "Dude, you the nigga." And it's funny because the black community talks his shit. And I mean, it really does talk his shit.
Yeah.
But you got to realize when y'all come back and see how things are in the next 10 years, if you still have a fucking community, I hate to tell you we told you so, but we told you so.
Yeah.
Shows like BGS, mine, Angry Man, and others, Art Do Style, Art of It More, and others have told you this shit for almost 10 straight years of how to get your community back together. But what did you do? You
Hmm.
pissed on it.
Yeah.
You pissed on it constantly. And now you're just reaping what the fuck you sowed.
Yeah. It is what it is, and it's not just just black people. It's also the white environment. The
Yeah.
laws that they pass. Okay.
Yeah. Anytime white people are getting that shit, you know. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, Naima?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all
What's
doing?
What's
up?
Can
up?
y'all hear me
Pretty.
okay?
Yeah. You're fine.
Okay, good. Sometimes I get a little skeptical about my phone and Bluetooth and whatnot. But anyway, um, first of all, the quote, the great Black Ram 313. It's good if y'all have this conversation because this is therapeutic, man.
It's therapeutic, man. He does law
Yeah,
enforcement as well. Shout out to Black Ram 313, one of the
Oh yeah.
OG.
The OG. Yeah. The OG and more.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, more. I think here's a word that's not mentioned here, but is relevant when we talk about, like everybody complaining about the older generations and whatnot. It's empathy. And at the same time, I have to remember there's a couple of things we have to also consider. It's like every generation experiences like the generation gap twice in their lives. First time with the older generation when they're younger, and the second time when they're dealing with the younger generations when they get to that age. if you ever hear like older people complain about young people and whatnot, that's not innate. That's like a learned behavior. And some people internalize it subconsciously in a sense. But at the same time, you have to ask them, put yourself in their shoes. Do you understand the historical context in which they were living? Do you understand what they were going through? But nobody understood that. Nobody wants to consider that. Me, I've had to do that, with my parents' generation, older generation. Thankfully, I learned my history and everything. So I understand, but some people just don't want to. Especially when you have things like generational trauma. But it is what it is. I mean, BGS, would you disagree with what I'm saying? Or
I mean,
no?
generational trauma, but also the environment that's perpetuated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because generational trauma is also it gets tied into culture because it's passed down.
absolutely. And some people, when they realize the trauma, they don't even realize why are we like this? It's just the way it is. And if you do some digging, you realize, okay, now that explains everything. Because you ask the what, but nobody's asking the how and the why.
Mm-hmm.
And some people even inquire to that. Sometimes when you even inquire, like I remember when I was learning about certain traditions in my society, I said, why do we do this? Why do we do that? And sometimes they couldn't tell me. And then I had to figure it out for myself. I said, okay, now I understand why. Now I understand why our mentalities are the way they are. I mean, this is just like and understand, folks. This is the reason why we're called multifaceted. George Orwell was right when he said, "Those who control the present control the past. Those who control the past control the future." Basically, you shape the minds of people. People, no, the leaders of tomorrow are shaped by how they're taught now the history. And you can see it reflect in how they do certain things. And when that's passed down and it becomes cultural, nobody stops to think, wait a minute, what are we doing? But but the environment being what it is, sometimes you don't have time to think.
See the bad part about it is because Namer and myself are the same age. Well, his
Mm-hmm.
birthday's in
5 months apart, exactly.
September 1st and April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tell you because we'll tell you similar stories from different parts of the over across the pond. That there was a reverent respect you had for your father that you don't see now. There's times you turn into a little boy talking to your father like, yo, we going to Home Depot. Let's do that. And there's times when your father starts to look at you as an equal, which is something that's almost unheard of in our community.
Not just fathers.
Yeah. I
Not just
crave
fathers, because remember, we all have like uncles.
uncles too.
Because remember,
Older cousins, older
older
brothers.
cousins. Because you ever had a situation like in some cases, instead of just going to Home Depot, sometimes you're sitting with your uncles, your dad, your uncle. You're playing cards, you're playing bones, or something like that, or in my case, like sometimes I remember I used to go to like certain coffee shops that my dad would frequent. And this is like in my late teens, early 20s. I go to, because my mom sent me to do an errand or let him know something. When I went over to him, first thing he would tell me to do is like, you see all these men right here? Yeah, I want you to shake everybody's hands, let them know whose son you are. The minute I said, they asked me, what's your name? I said, who's your father? That's my father right there. And they realized, okay. And the look in their eyes, because they realize, your father raised you right, but shaking my hand and being respectful to everybody.
This is gonna make BGS laugh. Thank you for the $5 holla from no one. He said he said for the BGS tax, the Ripple and Irish Rose Fund.
Or the Mad Dog 2020, Morgan David.
The Mad Dog. MD 2020.
2020.
The MD Deuce. God damn.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, but it's funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're the last generation, and AB is a millennial too. He's an older millennial.
83.
And it's funny. Welcome to your 40s, nigga. But
Yeah, pretty much.
it's funny because we're the last generation to have reverent respect and respectful fear of your father.
Yeah.
You literally measured your manhood to that man.
Yeah.
Now, without questioning. Now,
Without
I've never
question.
seen, and I've never seen the disrespect fathers will get. They will play games. I'm coming to get my child. Then she's like, no. You've seen the recordings. You've seen men having to have to
Oh
record
man.
shit.
Yep. Yep.
That one that Art showed on Tuesday. That motherfucker need his ass whipped. That dude just need his ass whipped.
Which
Plain
one?
and simple. Because the one where the stepfather was like, I'm a boy's father now.
Yeah.
He could have got everybody in that video killed if that was the wrong father.
No. Basically, I'll tell you because I've seen this, man. Okay. And Charles is a cop, right? The one thing you don't do if you're the father is step into another man's house with the kids unannounced.
Yeah.
Recipe for disaster. Okay. And
Okay.
if the cops are called, guess who's gonna get taken away? It's not gonna be the stepfather. It's gonna be you. You weren't
Yeah.
invited.
Hell yeah.
And you know that woman's gassing him up like a goddamn 72 pacer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything. Okay. Now the guy was cool when the guy walked in, knocked on the door, came in, and said, "Man, it's a family event. You ain't supposed to be here. Could you leave?" Okay. He's supposed to pack his stuff and say, "My bad," and tell his son, "Give me a call and come get your presents," and walk out the door. Did he do that?
No, he did not.
No.
Why come he didn't do it?
Ego.
So anything after that is his fault. Okay? Because trust and believe.
Unless those kids were under some type of threat of danger,
Right.
you respect that. There's times I had to talk to my son's mother because they were arguing. Her two children's fault. The father, her two other children,
Right.
the younger children,
Right.
and they arguing. And my son called me, and I asked my son, "I'll come get you if you want," but he wanted to stay. I don't want him to put his hands on her. I said, "I doubt it's going to go that far, but I'm worried about you. Can you make them stop?" I said, "That's not my household, buddy.
Yep.
Only thing I got control over is you."
It's you. And if you, the thing is, you have an option to be there or not be there. You can't protect your mother from herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I told him. And that's what I told him. And I said, "Look, if he touches you, I'm kicking in the door."
Yeah. And my thing, AB, you might not, you might not agree with this, right? Okay. If you care that much about your son, love him that much, why is he in that woman's house, in that man's house in the first place? You be like, Charles, I'm coming to get my son.
Yeah.
Go if that was Charles and Charles cared about his son the way that guy said he cared about his son. Charles, okay, I'm moving in with this guy with blah blah blah. I said, number one, Charles said, I want to meet the guy. I want to meet the guy who's my son's going to be under. Okay, am I right, Charles?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. When I found out she was pregnant with another dude, I said, "Who's the dude?" She didn't want to show me because she thought I'd be jealous. I said, "No, because he's going to be around my son."
Yeah. And what ideally what you want to do, and this is Charles, right? You want to sit down, pour a drink, have a cigar, and get to know the man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we
that
shook hands
child's gonna be yeah.
And it's funny because his Peanut's younger two brothers, they always talk to me. They're like, they forget my name's Charles, his name, and they be like, "Hi, Peanut's dad. How you doing?" And they'll sit down and talk to me. "Yeah, my day in school was like this and that and da.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got no hatred. Matter of fact, when Peanut had a dinner, he wanted me to pick up his best friend and his mom and his two brothers. And they're in the back seat. I said, okay. And I told her, you're paying for my plate too.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, man. This is something that I hardly ever talk about, especially with by my ex. Right? Is that we had a family reunion and in
Okay.
Denver. So I instead of driving, wanted to fly. Right? And uh, and my son had to work, so he couldn't go. And
Mm-hmm.
so my ex, baby mama, wanted to actually fly with me. I said, "Baby, you can't fly. She can't go." My kids were saying, "Well, how come she can't go?" I said, "Because she's dating another man. Okay, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
pay for a ticket to get her on a plane, go with me for a whole
Don't blame me.
week and a half, a week. Okay, with her
Yeah,
baby daddy, and she's living with a guy." I said, "I'm not gonna do that. She can't have that ticket.
you don't do that.
I don't do that.
You don't do
I
that.
Yeah, I
res-
That's
don't blame you.
that's disrespectful to that man."
Yes.
disrespectful as hell. You don't do that shit because a lot of people don't understand that you want to make it peaceful because you got a kid
Right.
involved and even if you and the mom not together, you want to show him how proper men act.
Yeah. Now, let me put you in the hot seat, AB, for a second, right?
All right.
Okay. You okay, you meet a girl and she got a baby, right? Maybe the kid's like 6, 7, 8 months old, right? Okay, maybe a year
Okay.
old, right? Okay. You meet a girl, you get to know her, you date her. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
y'all kind of fall in love or whatever it is, right? Okay, and
All
y'all
right.
decided that I don't know if they're married or not, but say you're gonna make a household, right?
Right.
And if you accept her, you got to accept him, the baby, right?
Right.
And so you set the baby into your household, and you have to parent that child, right? You can't just let them run wild. Okay, you have
Right.
to step and become parent, right? So 2, 3 years, 4 years, you're parenting this child, okay, which is fine, okay. Or his fifth birthday, okay, dad that never comes around, that's not invited, shows up to your house, demanding to come in. What do you do?
Oh, damn.
What do you do?
Yep, exactly. You're gonna say that first.
No, 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 no. The old damn no. What do you do?
You ask him to leave.
You asked him to leave, right? Okay, you asked him. Okay? You know it's a family event. I'm not trying to keep you from your kid, but you can't be here because it's a family event. Can you please leave? Okay. What if he says, "Fuck you, I'm not leaving. I want to see my son."
It's gonna get ugly.
It's gonna get ugly, right? Okay. And what if she's in the middle, hollering and screaming and going back and forth? Okay. Okay. And you got family at the house, right? Because he wasn't there by himself. He had a whole his family and her and the kid were all there. And he's in the middle of it, actually putting turds into the punch bowl. What do you do?
Tell her to shut up and let me handle this.
You tell her to shut up and let you handle it? How would you handle it?
I would ask him to leave again, one way or the other.
Oh, so if he say he's not leaving without his son, what would you do?
Uh, get the closest weapon.
So
Then
in
ask
other
him.
words, so in other words, the least thing that could have happened is that he's saying this is my kid and my son, which is disrespectful. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't. Okay.
Mhm.
So so basically,
Well,
go ahead.
let,
I'm
let
I'm
me
asking.
let me rephrase that. Now, just to get a little bit more context, he hasn't been around at all. Hasn't seen the kid at all. In the
Evidently, he hadn't
5 years.
been hadn't seen a kid in 2 years at least.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not it's not like he come pick him up every weekend or something like that.
Right.
Okay, he's seen
Right.
a kid in 2 years.
I'm like, look, we're gonna have to have a discussion because you haven't seen this. As the brother did say in the video, to his credit, you haven't been here. You're gonna
Yeah.
have a discussion before you just barge in, especially just barging in out of nowhere.
Okay, so you gonna sit down right then and there with this party going on and have a discussion with him?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Because number one, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna think. How does nigga get my address?
That's
Yeah.
number two. Yeah, that's number two. But the thing I would have done, and as I said I would have done. Okay, he came in. Number one, he wouldn't have got in. because somebody let him in,
Yeah, that
and
is something. That is true.
that's why the guy said, "What is he doing here?"
Yeah.
Okay. Second thing, I said, okay, you need to go outside, and I told the woman, whether it's my wife or girlfriend, whatever, you need to go outside and handle this and talk to him. I'm not the one to talk to, because what goes on between your child and your child and your baby daddy is between you and the baby daddy, not me. I got nothing to do with it. You need to go outside and talk to him and handle this, because he's not welcome here after all this. Okay, he's not welcome here.
Hmm.
But thing is, you want the stepfather who's taking on the role of the father to be the bigger man. Is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
I'm asking. I'm not making a judgment, because I've been in both roles, so I'm asking you guys to make a judgment. What do you think? Because basically he'd have had to, like, with Charles, he'd have had like 30 seconds to get the fuck out of his house.
Mm-hmm.
I need to vote on. But like you said, how did he end up getting the address and
Well,
everything?
you know how
So
he
yeah.
got the address, because she gave it to him.
Good.
Now I
Yeah.
know you mentioned that exactly something. She got to handle that, sort that out outside.
Outside,
Go
yeah.
someplace else. Take
And
it
I'm
outside. You tell
gonna
you
tell you
go.
what
You
you.
go over there.
I'm gonna tell you what you
Right.
really do. Anytime you dealing with an ex-boyfriend, an ex-husband, a baby daddy, you made this mess. You clean it up.
You clean it up. That's what I say. And I've
Because
been. Yeah,
And
go ahead.
damn, if you got to quote my dad,
because
Charles.
because hold on. Because one, you could have made this ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You knew
Yeah.
exactly full well what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to shit on this man and his feelings, and you don't even know how this man feels about this child.
Mm-hmm.
He could be having a bad run of luck. Who knows? He could be
Yeah.
sick. Who knows? He could just be a deadbeat. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you want to pour salt in an open wound by trying to prove, oh, I could get another nigga to do. No, 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 no. If anything, I'll leave this situation and you'll be back to ground zero.
Yeah.
Go fix this shit.
Go fix it. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Which
we're
in the
gonna do
moment.
this
That's
at a
actually
better,
one of the.
and we're gonna talk on a better time.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's actually one of the reasons why I asked. Has he been? Has he been having visitation and stuff? Because if he's having visitation and stuff, you're right. I'm like, I would ask my woman to go out and handle this.
If she could be given a fucking address, visitation is not that big a deal for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I asked that. Has he, made attempts to be in the child's life and stuff? Because I'm a firm believer. Even if it's his son, he should have a relationship with his son. Even if
Okay.
I take the mama, that's just how I roll.
But does that give you a right to come up in a man's house unannounced?
No,
Okay.
no,
Even if your son's inside,
no.
unless the child is in danger.
No,
Child's in
especially
danger. That's a
without
difference.
knocking or anything. No, hell no.
No, knocking. You're not invited. How do you know that man wants you in his house? Especially if you're an ex. Would you? The baby daddy
If
is
you
still her
called
ex.
in advance or something like that, then he would probably say,
The ba-
"Don't come"
w-
or
w-
something like that. But
w-
he didn't do it. He didn't do any of that.
if
Right,
you're
right.
having a birthday party, would you invite your woman's ex to the birthday party?
Hell
Hell no,
no.
Why?
because that man is because first of all, it's disrespectful, and plus that man has nothing to do with her now. He has no part in whatever.
There's too many people who were well acquainted with her vagina, her kids, and her ex-man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in other words, not just the child's father, but her ex is coming up in your house, okay,
Yeah.
and demanding to come in
Hmm.
and saying that used to be my baby, okay, talking shit
Yeah.
to you.
That's a power struggle move right there, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I would.
Motherfuckers want to flex on you and shit.
I mean, like, I'd be like, oh, nigga,
That's my baby. That's my woman, and that's my baby. Okay, you know what? I tell you what. Here's the address to the U-Haul. You come get them.
Ooh,
I'd be like, oh, I want everybody shit the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, it basically here's U-Haul, man. You know what? Go back up the truck.
What was it? I remember. Was it like Patrice O'Neal talked about this on Black Phillip? He talked about how sometimes dudes would just try to who these girls' ex would just like say some shit like some slick shit, right? And he would just try to flip the script on them. Like he'd like I used to hit that. You know what I'm saying? Oh really? You used to hit that, right? Did you ever do this? Did you ever do that? You ever done none of that shit? No, no.
Yeah.
Then
You
why
you
she no
know
longer with you and shit like that?
you know brothers don't like calling the police on each other, man. They don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
It looks bad on you because I guess it's a combination of
No,
bad relationship with law enforcement. More importantly, it makes you look more like a punk or something like that.
no, because brothers know how police are can be. Okay,
Yeah.
it can actually go left,
I did mention
and
that.
you
Brothers
want
bad
to get
relationship
you
with law enforcement.
no matter who that brother is, you want to give them every chance for the police not to get involved if you can.
Yeah.
If we got to go out and they'd rather fight you in the street than actually call the cops. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and settle it. Most black guys, white guys will call the cops in a minute. Okay, but black guys don't like calling police on each other. We don't. Because
Yeah.
basically if they do call the police and to do this talking shit, you know, cops gonna come, hey, can come. He's gonna ask you to leave
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and go get you an attorney. In first, he's gonna ask you where's your custody order. First thing he's gonna ask you, where's your custody order? If you don't,
Yeah.
you don't have one, okay, and you showed up as a birthday party claiming your parental rights. Guess what? You don't have one, buddy.
Uh-huh.
You need to go down and get you a lawyer.
Yep.
Unless you Charles, and well, Charles just that dude. Okay, give me my baby. Well,
Pretty
Charles is
much.
Yeah.
that dude. Charles is Charles is that dude. Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, you don't want to do it? Give me my damn kid. I'll show
Give
you
me
how
my
it's
baby.
done.
Give me my baby.
Imagine if it was Charles Senior. You had to go pick up Peanut. Give me my grandson.
He's actually done
Yeah.
that. He's actually done that.
see, everybody ain't that. Everybody's not that dude. So when Charles said, "Give me my baby," that woman said, "Yes, sir." Okay, here he goes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've told a lot of women.
Colonel Ball.
And clothes and all. Here's his clothes too.
Yeah, because I paid for them. Yeah, I've told a lot of women. They like, well, if we had a baby, I would put a guy on child support. I said, I'd be damned. I said, give me the goddamn baby. He's supported. Fuck
He
you.
supported. Fuck you.
Like, fuck y'all.
Man,
A lot of people don't
I'm glad
understand.
I'm over here.
When you,
No, go ahead. Sorry.
everybody here, we got the.
What category you coming in at, Ed?
No, I'm not gonna be up long. I just wanted to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Hey, yo, if y'all ain't seen that video BGS, well, this ain't it, but y'all ain't seen video BGS just uploaded. Definitely check that out.
Which one?
The comparison one between what you keep saying they signed up to be breadwinners and didn't know it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that earlier, and it's like, I like how Ed just slid up in here like this.
Yeah, well, that's the way it starts. You know how to see people a piece of paper blow across the yard,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and then it picks up. It's oh shit, it's coming in.
it's coming in strong.
No, but the main thing I wanted to say too is one of the reasons why these conversations are really important. BGS was just talking about that custody order thing, is because everybody always wants the shit to be real lovey-dovey. It's amazing how women convert. And it's not just them. It's how the society shows them how to get real litigious, get him a lawyer, get in everything in order to isolate a man from their kids.
Mm-hmm.
But men are supposed to be real lovey-dovey and ethereal and raising kids that are not theirs. You know how they try to keep us not really thinking about the business of doing things. They don't like remember Ice Cube and how Ice Cube was with Jerry Heller.
Mm-hmm.
and how Dre, all of them were kind of didn't like how Ice Cube was being, because they thought he was just messing up the game or messing up the bag. When in actuality, he was the one that was looking at the particulars. He was like the first one. Dre took a couple of hits, but eventually he got there too. That's how it is with kids. They don't want us acting like, they don't want us having these conversations because they do not want us looking at this from a very pure logical standpoint. So when you see situations like what you mentioned, that brother coming up there talking about, you know, his kids and stuff, that's what you say, BGS. That's the socialization that they give the men.
Yeah.
He's taking responsibility, so that should all be on. But he's not thinking about no custody order and something like that, because you don't deal with that until you get confronted with that. And so what we're trying to do is let people know this is the type of commitment they're trying to put you into. It ain't what you think it is, but it's just a matter of you being a man and acting like a man. No, they're literally putting you into a legal fuck hole with the state.
Yeah.
And this is why a lot of times these bitches are not worth the squeeze with that shit. And they get mad about that because they just want somebody to come in. And again, like I said before, in these conversations, the conversation is never what they're going to do or supposed to do for this community that supposedly we both belong into. Is really them just signing up for like various stages of welfare and men doing something for them without them doing anything. And that is a problem. And that's the thing that I kind of pull from what you were saying that Iyanla Vanzant was trying to say.
Yeah.
This is why I keep saying I understand why it's valid, even though that's not my priority. Because when she said that, they don't want to hear that. Everything she said was about how am I supposed to get, and how that's all that is. It's never what you're going to do in relation to another person.
Nope.
Yep.
I believe the word you're looking for, Ed, is solipsism.
What I'm looking for is reciprocation. But that doesn't apparently black women were not women in general were not raised to believe in that. And the last thing I'm gonna say too, and I said this in the Telegram, BGS, I don't know if you got to it or not. It was in response to the voice note you gave. It was that the video. It was that at the end of the day, let's look at it how you always talk about it from a society or government wanting to balance itself so the stuff can move forward. Just cold, calculated balancing.
Right.
The thing about it is, if the men, if they want to keep the men in, let's say they want to keep the men in and they're not going to do it the way I want to do it.
Right.
At some point, they're going to have to tell these bitches to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be like black, white, or otherwise. They have to be like, look, y'all can't keep doing this. Y'all can't keep saying you want this.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna, it's like, dude, if you like right here, like the way I can see it going is as a woman, once you say you're an alpha, you don't get an alpha dude.
Yeah.
No. So once y'all start saying that, that goes out the window. Because there cannot be no two alphas. Because you could that's not. And another thing too is, here's the thing, when you look at women like Ebony has no children. Ebony has had multiple jobs and she got put on, a lot of them by black men, by the way. Mm-hmm. You're taking up spots for dudes that would have families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. And so I'm waiting for them to start. I know they're not going to directly say that, but like put the pieces together to have that indirect conversation. And that's kind of where you're talking about, where you keep saying, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I'm not going to mention the names, but you got dudes that they keep on in our space, they keep on mischaracterizing that as you're trying to sell that to black men, which is not what you're trying to do. What you're basically saying is this is the equation that they created, and the society is going to collapse because the women don't want to do their part. Exactly. And men are not going to just be this beta and then also be the alpha to say it's not work. That's not going to work.
No, it's not enough. There's not enough of them.
So it's not necessarily that you would sell that equation to your son or some shit.
No,
it's that this is the equation, and the reality is these women are gonna have to put their big girl panties on and accept that shit and get whatever pookie. Here's the fun thing about it: if you got money, you can go for a dude that's gonna rock your world, and that's all. You can pick based on that and just require that he can take care of himself have the basics as far as taking care of himself as a man. And getting a blue collar nigga is actually a bonus. to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Because that's actually a lot. But the point is, this idea, this intersectional ideology, this is black women. Now you can say this with non-black women too, but with
Yeah.
black women in particular, this intersectional ideology that you want to graduate from blackness and be like pseudo white, because that's really what it is. And you all want, whether you get a black man or a white man, this like that you're better than, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to get somebody or don't. But the thing is, and I'm done after this, when I hear women like Ebony talk about they froze their eggs, Kendra G froze
Yeah.
their eggs,
Yeah.
you have failed at that point. Nobody is going to get with you in a serious relationship when you froze your eggs. Like, why would any man do that and not just deal? Like, if you're 43 and your eggs are frozen, why would you even do that to your children? Like, you're actually hurting your children by getting a woman that old. You might as well get a chick in her 30s, her early 30s. And
You know,
that's technically out the wall.
you,
But
you know,
that's better than getting a bitch that's 43.
but
Anyway.
you know what's funny, Ed, that you say that. They put this undeserved value, and women don't understand. The biggest hurt to their value is age.
Yeah.
And then attitude. Why would
You got a
now,
blue collar black, and I'm actually gonna do a show eventually called the Blue Collar Show. I'm sure and I'm gonna get various dudes up there and stuff like that, because I'm more of a white collar person, but I definitely have respect for blue collar folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say respect, I mean, like, I can do blue collar shit, but I'm 5'5", and yes, there's Hispanic do blue collar, but so I got, men got more of a respect for other dudes that Bill, you get a car fixed, especially a decent deal and stuff like, you know what I'm saying? We got more respect for that because we understand the value of that versus the women are more ethereal that way. But one of the things that I want to really sell on this is for a blue collar dude. Like, let's say a blue collar dude is making $60,000 a year. What would Ebony do to benefit? Like, seriously, the thing that I don't see with this woman, and SWP does a good job in talking about how women want to add men in their program.
Right. Now
What
they do.
Now
they do. They've been trained to
Yeah,
do that.
and they're being bold about it. What is it that you're adding other than sex? What is it as a lawyer? What value? Because you really don't add status to him, not him. Like, if you were a stay-at-home mom, you the same chick for the stay-at-home mom. I'm not saying there's zero status points, but there's not the type of status points that you think a dude gets. A dude is not gonna get a promotion if he had a woman that's a very good black woman that's got kids and he's trying to be an up-and-coming climbing executive. Her being an attorney does not elevate him in the fact that makes him more likely to get the partnership over another guy. Now, the tiebreaker may be the fact that he's married versus not married. But the tiebreaker is not going to be, oh, well, she's an attorney. So I need to know, because your money is your money. Y'all talk about building together, yet you really want somebody greater than you. So in actuality, he's still doing the building. All that vice presidential BS that you're doing, and I'm gonna tell you, there is an answer to this question, but usually that answer does not involve women like her, though. Yeah. That's the funny thing. Like, for instance, there's a situation where you can put a woman in commercial real estate. You can put not a woman, but you can put your spouse or somebody as like a certain tax status to where they're doing the majority of their job is for real estate management, and that gives you great tax advantages over somebody just doing real estate. But you have to show that a certain amount of what you do is dedicated to only real estate. Now, a guy that's a doctor might not be able to do that because they're a doctor, but their wife could. But you can't do that if you're like an attorney. So my point is, there is literally nothing of actual value she can actually bring to the table based on what she thinks to even a blue collar guy. That's the funny part that they don't understand.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jim Rat 08 for the $5 holla. If blue collar workers go down, society goes down. See,
they know that. Yeah. Go ahead.
See,
Charles.
Here's the crazy part about that is that a lot of blue collar workers have a lot of are actually gaining money because we're in such a technological world that nobody knows how to work with their fucking hands anymore.
Mhm.
Now,
That's true.
the guys who you, this is how you know people like Ebony are stupid. The guys you really want to make some money and who can afford that bus are the guys who working with their hands. I mean, you want somebody. See, women will take a 50. Let me put it to you this way: they did a survey. They asked women, would you rather, men and women, would you rather have a high profile job with a title and no money, or clean sewers for $100,000?
The men would take the money.
Men
Yeah,
take
because
the
women are, and that's
women
why
want to
they're
take
in debt. That's why
women
they're
take
in debt. And this is why, because people forget, Karen, the white dude that Karen was with, she made more money than at first,
Mm.
outside of YouTube. So they be taking these discounts on non-black men. Don't. And another thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm done too, is these Latin women don't have that problem, by the way. Not as a group.
No, they don't.
no.
So especially if you a blue collar dude and they see you on your way up, because there's different levels to blue collar. I'm curious to what grown man business would say, because he's a blue collar dude, but he's a contractor. Like he's like, and he makes six figures. He got nothing but daughters. So I think he'd have an interesting take on this. But the thing about it is, you don't even understand. You can get a light-skinned Latina with an ass and a cute face, or you can deal with your fucking smug looking ass. And even though the Latinas might have an issue, to be honest with you, they respect work. If you're somebody, you making your money, you doing something, you more of it, you ain't a liability, but you an asset to what they trying to do, they'll calm down with that bullshit if you get the right ones.
Yeah.
They may have that view of black people as a group, but individually, it's usually a case by case basis. Usually, they not that far gone with the racial BS. Usually, but and this is another thing where black women want to talk about colorings and why you're not getting picked. Yo, Ebony's not a dark girl. That's not her problem. Her and we're not having a real conversation. That's why I didn't like that Iana brought up that bus shit, because to me it gave folks an out. I get what she's trying to say, but
Right.
she need to just say it and take the heat. You already off TV, so just take the heat. To be honest with you, the powers that be would rather a chick like Iana said. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
You owe, they could pay you on the side. You've had your time in the spotlight. You ain't really necessarily too hungry to be out there again like that. Somebody's got to say it. So just fucking say it. Have her with a white woman and say that shit, and then let them get mad. Anyway.
Yeah. She'll still have the rest of Gold Digger face, but she'll be right.
I mean, wait till Ebony get 50. That's when she really gonna be stupid.
We
Because you already see it. And you know she was fucking up when even Vivica A. Fox disagreed with her ass.
Yeah.
We already seen it when we saw Eartha Kitt. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've already seen this shit because they get bitter because men of substance don't want to deal with that shit. When men of substance don't deal with that shit, guess what happens?
You can hear it. Like, I cannot get over how that chick sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Love Dorsey. Niggas get mad at talk about Love Dorsey sound like she smoked a pack of cigarettes a day. Granted, I'm not gonna argue with that. I would rather hear Love Dorsey than hear that shit. Like, that chick has the voice of just, nigga, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like she just has that in her throat, yo. And I'd rather listen to a hood bitch than listen to Ebony. I'm dead ass serious. And when she was like, yeah, I don't give who gives a fuck about who I've been with. I'm like, I can't deal with that. You want to be sophisticated and ratchet at the same time, bullshit. Pick a lane.
And pick struggle.
I mean, they pick struggles. Look at the niggas they pick. They know how to pick a
Struggle
goddamn
niggas are us.
One thing about a black woman, they know how to pick a struggle. Struggle nigga, struggle baby, struggle house, struggle job. They know how to
Roger said that's how you know they know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Dolly Parton's husband. She's been married to him like maybe 40 years, right? Guess what he does?
Mm-hmm.
You
What's
need a
that?
trucker?
Yeah, he's a trucker. He was in
He's a
construction when she
trucker.
first married him.
He's been out
So,
of sight for the most part throughout
Yeah,
his career. She's
the
been very supportive,
stack
but
of
he chose to be
scarves.
out of sight.
yeah, but she always said, "Well, who you married to, Earl? What does he do? He drives a truck."
She
Stacker
wasn't ashamed
stuff.
of it.
Yeah,
Thank you for the $10 holla. Ooh. I mean, whatever happened to get it a good man? Think about it. Dolly Parton's world famous, wrote all kinds of great songs for all types of
Yep.
artists, all types of genres.
Mm-hmm.
And she's happy to have a guy who works. Happy to have a
Yeah,
guy who's a trucker.
and probably
that
considered a
truck.
dime in the white world.
And basically, she was one of the most famous people on the planet when she
Yeah.
married him.
First of all,
Yeah,
he met her before she got big and everything, right?
yeah. He's
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
yeah. But the
He
So
was
thing
kind
is,
of like
but the thing is, she
I'm sorry.
never denigrated him. She never
No,
talked down to him. She didn't
Right.
try to
no,
divorce him. She didn't try to make him do anything else. Okay, she loved him for what he was, and she never tried to change him.
and he was her rock basically.
Yeah,
He kept it steady. She understood that guys like this was like especially in those days when they met in their time, in
yeah,
their heyday. You had a good man. You had a good man. You got to keep him. Why do you think you had a song like Joe Wheaton?
yeah,
it's like an old Lattimore song.
yeah.
Girl, just sit it down. Let's talk it out.
Now, how many black
Uh,
women would have been married to somebody like that if there was as famous Dolly Parton was?
No fucking way.
none,
They would have
none.
beat that shit over his head. Like, you ever notice when you see black female celebrities who are married,
Hmm.
notice they got to be married to a nigga more famous or rich than them.
Yeah,
Now, Charles, don't talk about Jada Picnic like that.
I'm talking about Beyonce too.
yeah.
Well, you know, I say it to him, my bad.
I'm talking about every one of these hoes. Think about it. You had what's that really, really pretty chick? Carrie Hilson.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, here we
The
go.
Dated
fucking
dated
she
Sabaka,
yeah
NBA basketball player. Yeah,
had a
Serge
younger guy,
Ibaka,
yes, sir,
Serge
Sabaka.
Ibaka. Had a younger,
Serge
he's younger
Ibaka.
than
Yeah.
her, right?
Yeah.
And she's
Wait,
what?
is she that
He's
Andre Iguodala?
No,
like she
it's Serge Ibaka that she was
Serge
dating.
Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka. Okay.
Yeah,
Serge Ibaka. Okay.
she'll be 40 this year, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
if she's not already 40. Still pretty as fuck,
Look
but
it
she's
up.
still 40.
Yeah.
And you get a basketball player, you need to, you know what? See, that's the difference between men and women. A man knows when they struck gold. They ain't throwing away the nuggets. Nah, the nuggets are worth something.
Nope.
Nah, we got gold, motherfucker. I mean, there's something about that shit. There's something about that. Like, yo, a
Oh, she's
chick.
already 40.
Yeah,
She turned 40 about December 5th, 1982.
a chick will fuck around and will fuck up. I mean, they're like Peter Griffin on Family Guy playing
Mm-hmm.
blackjack, and this will make BGS laugh. You got Peter Griffin at the table with Lois. He's saying to the house, "Hit me, 18. Hit me, 19. Hit me." And then she's like, "You might want to stop." No, I'm on a roll, Lois. Hit me, 20. Hit me, 21. I'm on a roll. Hit me. She just looked. I swear to God, that's like black women. That's like black women on their fucking dime, boy. Like,
So basically, black women are legally retarded like Peter Griffin.
yeah, I'm starting to believe that.
Yeah.
Well, in the show, they did say that he was legally retarded. That's why he acted the way he said. And the only person who had more sense than him was Opie.
Well, let's I'm gonna teach you how to investigate. Let's look at the price of things. Let's look at crime. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Let's look at crime. Let's look at investigation. Okay. Would you think it's smart to carry a baby before you're married?
No.
Do you think it's smart to have multiple baby daddies
before
No.
you get married?
before you're married?
No.
Okay, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Do you think it's smart to go get child support from a man who's taking care of the kid and you getting more for the kid than child support will ever give you?
No.
Do you think it's smart? Do you think it's smart to go wear another fucking woman's hair and to try to berate your men? So you might have something there with Peter Griffin.
Try to berate your men.
Oh yeah, you might have something there.
All we need now is for black women to talk about certain things finding the greer. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you think it's smart to go get a Brazilian butt lift if your men tell you don't need that shit?
So I think you know what? That's the statement.
You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
The DSMs need to study black women, and that's fine.
They do. They do. Where you think they write it from?
I mean, and then the sad part, he got a black chick up there with some blonde hair. What the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. They need to be.
They're in love with the mirror. Okay, that's what they're in love with.
And then the sad part. Do you think it's smart to wear what attracts other women, or what attracts men? And that'll tell you all.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just gonna leave it as that, young man.
That's why black women like good-looking men, to make other women jealous. It's not about.
They are competing with other women like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they like men that look better than them.
They do. They do. Yeah. Shout out to Prison Bay.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Well, remember Tony Braxton's "I Like Me Some Him."
Mm-hmm.
Where's Mr. Z when I need it? I need to bounce off these R&B references. So.
Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna bounce off of here. So
yeah, well, it's a good conversation we had. We're gonna end off on a good note.
Yeah.
Actually, if we're gonna end off on a good note, first of all, I just want to tell y'all. First of all, motherfuckers, y'all ain't shit. God bless you for it.
Mm-hmm.
I like to stay that way. And just for BGS, we're gonna end it off on his favorite.
What?